wanted to be here, but he's traveling. He got some personal things to handle, with the family, and family is always first. I don't know if you're confused, but that's how we rock out on the Brooklyn Bridge. So, should I start out with history? Brother Black, are you ready? All right, welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge by way of the BX. Brother Black, up on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening, family? What's happening?
What's up, y'all? What's up, Sister Keisha? Good to see you again another Thursday. I ain't going to say Sister Marcia word because I'm going to wait for her to say it. But it's a pleasure to be here and good to see you here. I'll let you get it back until you're ready to give it back to me.
I'm ready, brother. What's the word? What's the word? What's the word from the curb?
Hold on 1 second. Okay. So let's get shout out to Jesse Jackson and his people on Operation Push and Rainbow Coalition and all that BS. That kind of took for one day at least yesterday and the day before when he actually passed away, that kind of took the wind out of the Epstein sails, but it's back on it again because Jesse hasn't really mattered since Mike Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. Y'all remember when y'all seen that video when they told him and Al Sharpton to get the hell on? So he passed away. He could have been on ice because if y'all remember, maybe late last summer or fall, he was on his deathbed. He made it through, and he probably been in a coma since or whatever the case may be. But he could have been on ice. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question, Sister Keisha, and see if you remember this. You remember when RBG, the Supreme Court judge, was missing for like a year and a half, 2 years, and then it came on the news that she passed away, and then they retracted it and all this and that. You remember that?
Vaguely. Refresh my memory.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yes, I know who it is. Yeah, okay. But refresh my memory of the story.
Yeah, well, she had disappeared for some time, and everybody was saying she had passed away. I don't remember which channel it was that said she did, and then they retracted it soon after. Like, they played it at 7:30, and at 7:50, they said, no, it was a mistake, that they didn't mean to run the story, blah, blah, blah. But it was said that she had passed away at that time. And if you know what a Rommel death is you pass away, they execute you, but they put it in the paper like you passed away of natural causes so as not to taint your legacy, so your family don't have to suffer through all of that and that. So that's what happened to John, or allegedly what happened to John McCain when he passed away, when he developed this fast-moving cancer, and within a year he was gone. So that's a Rommel death. That's what it's taken from, I don't remember the guy, but it was, I believe, during the French Revolution. That was what they did with certain people that they wanted to not taint their legacy, but they were accused of treason or, going against the country that they supposedly represent. So with that said, that could be just another distraction because of the push.
I got a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Sister Pat says, Brother Black, what's your take on the upcoming 6-planet lineup?
I was aware of that last year. I didn't really follow up on it lately. If you want, I can come back next week or even later in the show and look it up and then see what it's about. But
yeah, let's do that for next week. Put that in your notes. Sister Marcia, are you ready before you continue, Brother Black? Welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge. Africans on the rise. Sister Marcia in the building. What's happening?
Peace, family. Nice to see everyone again. The computer is working. No more distractions on my half. Sister Keisha, how are you? Brother Black, audience, how y'all doing today?
Blessed and highly favored.
Ashe.
The freight train is moving full steam ahead. So I'm ready to get it popping. Continue, Brother Black. Sorry about that.
Sister Marcia hasn't greeted me properly yet. I'm waiting.
Happy Blacktastic Thursday, Black. Do you feel black enough now?
I need that. You already know.
Shout out to Kalanis. I hope I'm saying that right. Shout out to you. Thank you for rocking out on the Brooklyn Bridge with us. We definitely appreciate you. Project Leroy 920. What's happening? Go ahead, Brother Black.
Okay. So with that said, Sister Keisha, as far as and Sister Marcia, as far as all of that is concerned, I believe that everything is, especially now with the push that FBA. This is what I was going to say when Sister Marcia came in. I believe with the push that FBA is making, new discoveries every day. I saw a video last night. I think I sent it to you. If I didn't, please, I'll send it during the show. But if I did, let me know. And if I didn't, then let me know as well. As far as that's concerned, it's saying that the oldest bones in the world were found here in the United States, and that the slavery story is the opposite way around. I'm sure you heard that story before. It's not new, but lately that's developing a lot of traction and a lot of science is coming out. So, and Rod Hayes said it, Oshun, I forget her other name, a whole bunch of people saying that stuff now because the FBA agenda agency is really strong right now, and the real people are saying real stuff with receipts. So I'm not saying something. Yes, ma'am.
Quick question, because you said FBA agenda agency. Could you explain that, please?
Well, I'm saying the push to be recognized as a sovereign entity outside of any delineation. The delineation of
okay, let me rephrase that because let me rephrase that for you because it sounds a little sus. Okay, so I think what you mean is the push of FBA and the delineation movement.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that's what you meant.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead. Continue.
I stand corrected. Okay, so with that said, all of the tenets that come with that are being pushed to the forefront, and with the with the mixture of that and the deportations that have been going on for about a year now, more or less, it's only a matter of time before FBA get what they supposed to and everybody else do too. So it's crazy how nobody, like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, maybe up to 15 years ago, how nobody could talk, nobody black at least, could talk bad about Obama, Michelle, Jay-Z, and Beyonce, and all these people now have been ruined, but nobody's saying that, whether FBA or whoever else. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying people who know better, but I'm talking about the normal people. And like, when are these people going to be canceled? Because I saw an article yesterday saying that the courts are going to go ahead and allow Raimir, Jay-Z's alleged son, to get a blood sample or whatever DNA sample in order to prove or disprove that that's his son, father, what have you. So a lot of things as a result of the delineation process is making other things that we're not even thinking about come out. And so I commend you and all those, Sister Brooke and Brother Divine as well, that are doing the work to make everything come out so that everybody get what they're supposed to get. So with that said, I'm done with my little spiel. If you want to ask me a question or continue going on, I'm done as far as that's concerned.
Let me give a quick shout out to our brother Melrose Radio. If you know, you know. Boots on the ground, boy. Melrose don't play with people, boy. Melrose don't play.
What's Melrose?
What is it? Well, who is it?
Who is it? And where is he or her?
That's our FBA brother out of here in New York. One day we got to get you up on the bridge. Whenever Thursday you have available, Brother Melrose, let me know. And we got a seat for you up on the bridge. Shout out to Brother Leonard on the check-in. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
Hey, family.
Yes, indeed. Salute to everyone. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because, this viewer also said, what I repeated back to you, FBA is a lineage and not an agency. And the reason why I had to step in and give clarity to that, because, when you say agency right now in this current climate, people are trying to say that we're a CIA op and all this old kind of stuff, so just want to be a little careful with that. But continuing what you were talking about, released this morning that Andrew out of Buckingham got picked up, house search. You know, I guess the royal family is either done with him or using it as some form of distraction. I don't know. But, you know, Sister Marcia, your take on that release of news this morning.
It's exciting how everyone is shaking in their boots. That, you know, I remember years ago in a different organization when they were mentioning names and these things are going to come out. And I would sit back and I'd be like, okay, just wait and see. And now, years later, the knowledge of other organizations are coming out. And to see that if the people only worked and believed, so many advancements would come. But as they say, in due time, my child, your seat will be present. And so you sit on a lot of knowledge that you've had from years ago, and now you're turning back around and you're like, damn, I feel like I'm doing whiplash when someone was mentioning it years ago, and you would just sit there like, is this person crazy? Because you couldn't believe some of these things. Is this? That's mommy. Say hi, mommy, everyone. Mommy's in the background.
Hi, mommy. Marcia be misbehaving, mommy. So I'm just letting you know she does. Go ahead, continue.
In the streets of Brooklyn, we say South by
but yeah, so it's always interesting to see the knowledge of people come to fruition, because if you stay true to your calling, you will see these things and you don't have to push it. Like, you know, there's the eagerness. My mom used to say that I used to be so eager. There's a Catholic thing that they say that when I don't remember which apostle saw Jesus, they was like, oh Thomas. Thomas wouldn't believe it until he could put his finger in the hole. And my mom used to say, you don't need to put your finger in the hole to believe the truth. Just believe the truth and wait for it to come. And I think this is a great time to see the truth come to light. And goodbye, whoever your name is, Andrew, and everyone else that was duplicit in the abuse of not only children but just abuse of.
Yeah, because right now they on the Naomi Campbell's back too.
I say, and she needs, you know, like so much cover up. Like you're afraid to tell because this person fed you. Just because you were fed by someone doesn't mean that you don't tell the truth. You'll be fed later on, but you're afraid because that's my milk and honey, and I can't mess that up. And when you're not messing that up, you're endangering so many lives, and so many lives have been endangered in this world, and no one is putting volition to that. So I'm happy. Let the chips keep falling where they may.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Sister Keisha, can I say something real quick?
Go ahead, brother.
The intel says when President Trump, during his first administration, did that European and Middle Eastern tour right after that Las Vegas shooting, that all them people are gone and been gone. Now, this is years ago. I was saying that back then, but you know, you kind of got to be quiet about things like that in the interim, because now we getting to the point where we're going to start seeing the things that transpired back then. It's supposed to be 3 days of darkness, where they block out all TV and internet, and you see these things on what's called court TV. That's what the intel says. This information is out there. I'm not telling y'all something. I saw this years ago. I'm not talking about last year, 2 years ago. I'm talking about during his first administration. So a lot of these people that being deposed, sat down, and what have you. And it's not just royalty either. Businessmen, tycoons, captains of industry, blah, 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 on and so on. Jay-Z, just one more, you know what I'm saying? Weinstein been in jail probably 10 years now, maybe a little less. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to start seeing a lot more. And they're starting to unleash the redactions as well. So, and then slowly but surely, they're going to roll out them other 3 million documents. But, you know, it's who's going to be able to read 3 million documents anyway? So, you know, they got to do it.
Yeah. Me.
Only.
Me. Big Russ said, Tara too. I heard there's a documentary on Netflix that I must check out about America's Next Top Model behind the scenes. So I'll add that to my list maybe on Sunday to check out. Because, you know, I'll be busy. Moving and shaking. Financial unity. What's happening, Philly? What's happening? I ain't seeing you since Philly. She built journal. What's happening? Thanks for rocking out with us on the Brooklyn Bridge. Our brother Ray and the BK Mackey History Club. What's happening? And our brother, Knowledge Born Allah. Do the Knowledge Radio. We flamed last night. And I got a message from somebody who was a little bit confused about our lineage and delineation. And now this person has clarity. So thank you, brother, for hosting that last night. Peace to you. But I wanted to bring this up because you mentioned Jesse Jackson and the term African American dies with him. However, back when he was rocking with Trump, see, that digital footprint, baby, you can't find it.
Out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in 84 and 88. And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our business meeting here in New York because he has this sense of the curious and a will to risk to make things better. And so aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person.
I will tell you, a large percentage of the people, and especially in construction, that are building these great jobs are Black and minorities, and I'm very proud of it. We have close to 25%, and I think the number's going up, and they do a great job. There are no better builders than we have in New York, and a big percentage of that is Black and minority folks. So I just want to thank everybody in the room for being here. I look forward to some questions. And then I don't know how we're ever going to leave this building today, because if you look outside, it is terrible. But we'll figure a way. There's always a way. And thank you, Jesse, and congratulations.
That digital footprint, baby, you know, it's crazy. Told y'all, left wing, right wing, currently same bird. However, there is some benefits that we have obtained, and we are holding steadfast to it. But I want to get into some history while we wait for our sister Brooke and brother Devon to get up on the Brooklyn Bridge. I want to go through some history. Sister Farnessa, you ready? Because I know you've seen this. You know, she's seen it because she follows Thorough Black Talk. But we're going to give you some intel on some FBA history tonight. So let's play this. Sheriff Lucius Emerson, Alabama. Here we go.
Alabama elected a black sheriff in 1966, and the Klan put a $50,000 bounty on his head. But what Lucius Emerson did next made them regret it forever. When every white deputy quit, Emerson hired Vietnam veterans who killed for America and now killed for justice. His deputies didn't arrest Klan members. They disappeared them. 17 Klan leaders vanished during his 8 years. Must have left town, Emerson would say. The FBI investigated, but every black person in Macon County stayed silent. When the Klan shot up his house, 2 clan families' barns mysteriously burned. When they bombed his office, 3 grand dragons got found floating in the river. He turned their terror tactics against them. White folks stopped wearing sheets real quick when the hunter became hunted. Alabama erased him from history books because he proved black power could destroy white supremacy. The Klan offered $50,000 for his head, but lost 20 members learning why you don't threaten a black sheriff with nothing to lose. Google won't show you this truth.
So just for some clarity, we've always been fighting. And that's why you see so much pushback, against delineation and FBA right now. Because we are natural born fighters. We ain't gonna run, we ain't gonna flee, we're gonna greet you toe to toe. And it's up. Brother Black, did you know about Lucius Emerson?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Never heard of him.
Yes.
Never heard any of that.
Yes.
And I love it. And I love it.
Another hidden history figure. Because, like I said, our story is rarely told, especially when it comes to rebellion and when it comes to, putting the dirt naps. I should say.
You, sis. I don't see you. Okay, there we go. I see you now.
All right. So, giving people them royal dirt naps, so a lot of things get pushed out. But let's continue with some Black history that you may know about.
Sister Keisha.
Yes.
Before we go to the next clip, real quick, I want to just add something. I saw something yesterday, and I should have noted it, but I didn't. That said that Jesse Jackson is full-blood Cherokee. No trace of African blood in him.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever heard that one? Okay.
Yes.
You can take it from there.
Yes. But again, that term does with him African American. So, because everybody could be African American, from Charlize Theron to Elon Musk can be African American. So let's continue with some history, and then we'll get into some other things.
I, the only one who didn't know a black inventor from Kentucky revolutionized fishing? George Cook brought brains and bells to the water in 1899. Here's how he did it. Picture this, Louisville, Kentucky. George Cook, a brilliant black inventor, isn't just fishing for fun. He's got a patent for a wild invention, the automatic fishing device. Forget staring at your line for hours. Cook's gadget used a sneaky trip lever. When a fish bit, it triggered a spring-loaded carriage that zoomed back on tiny rails. But wait, there's more. The device rang an actual bell to alert you. And it didn't stop there. A spring-driven reel started winding up the line, all on its own. One clever device, 3 smart features. In 1899, George Cook proved fishing could be fast, loud, and a little bit genius. Remember his name next time you hear a bell by the water. If you love history, you need to hear about Junius G. Groves, the potato king of the world. Born into slavery in 1859, Groves was freed and joined the Great Exodus to Kansas in 1879. Starting as a humble farmhand, his dedication earned him 9 acres to farm. By 1884, he and his wife Matilda had saved enough to buy 80 acres near Edwardsville, Kansas. Their success multiplied, and by 1888, they owned a staggering 2,000 acres and lived in a 22-room mansion. At his peak, Groves harvested a record 721,000 bushels of potatoes, securing his title. But he didn't stop there. Groves expanded his ventures to include a general store, orchards and investments in mining and banking. His achievements? Groves credited the unwavering support of his wife and 12 children. Junius G. Groves left behind a powerful legacy of resilience and prosperity in early 20th century America. From enslavement to empire, Grove's story is a testament to what can be achieved with determination and support.
The reason why I love that story so much is because in this current climate, a lot of people like to push division between the black man and the black woman, especially those who don't come from here. You know, there has been some wicked, disparaging things about us and our people and our lineage. So, you know, that story I played because we always fought together. We always rode together. And so that's why I don't like to generalize things and say, well, they need to do and this needs to. No. You know, history starts with you. Revolution starts with you and your family. So you got to ask yourself, you know, what have you done? Or what have I done? What have my family members done? You know, what have the people close to my family have done in this fight? And if the answer comes up 0, then you're part of the problem. So let's get your tribe in order. Get your tribe in order. But
or be the first, right, Sister Keisha?
Say again?
Or be the first.
If you that's it, Marcia. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. You be the first in your family line to leave a legacy behind. You don't have to stand on a fictitious shoulder or something that you know nothing about, but because you read a story made you feel good. So now you want to stand on that shoulder. But it can be disingenuous, right? Because you know part of a story, but if you knew the whole story, maybe you don't want to stand on these shoulders now. I don't know. You know, I don't know. So we got to deal with that as well. But before I bring in Brother Divine and Sister Brooke, like I said last night, we were with Brother Knowledge Born on Do Knowledge Radio, and since Brother Tad cannot be here, we're going to play some clips of some of the things that he said, and we'll come right back. We'll discuss them. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. Let's get to this. Here we go. Let's play a little bit of this clip of what happened last night.
I was wondering how I was going to sit here and bring it back. I like to bring things full circle, so I want to acknowledge the clip you played in the beginning, right? By quoting the famous songwriter. See, I heard the songwriter say that my 16s be so real. You could feel it in your veins like Romelo's pops from Sugar Hill. And I'm saying that to say, to that pipe dream caveat you add on, this goes perfectly. The reason why they think it's a pipe dream, because of how real our 16s have always been. See, we stood 10 toes down and fought our way out of enslavement that nobody thought we was getting out of. And to put it in your same words, many thought was a pipe dream. While those that come over and think this is a pipe dream are those that got on the nearest pipe, in a tube, or whatever they could find that floats to come over here. And so it all seems like a dream when all you know how to do is run. But when you stand and fight, you don't have to go to sleep to get the life you know you deserve. You're going to put in the work that we've always put in. And that's why it's never been a dream for us. See, Dr. King had a dream, right? And most of what he dreamt about, we've turned into reality because we already knew how to separate facts from fiction. Most of these other groups do not know how to do it because most of what they regurgitate and much of the information is the fiction that was told to them at the immigration office or by the white supremacists that they look to align themselves with. And so they don't deal in reality at any point in their existence. Their reality is what white supremacy tells them it is. And then they get mad at us because we've defied that reality at every turn. And so to kind of go more in depth about down that line of what it's not is everything they say it is. Because they're on the outside looking in. They wouldn't know if we told them. Because we told them and they still don't know. It is what we say it is. Because it's our culture. It's our movement. It's our country. See, Sister Brooks said something quite profound. See, you don't understand the constitutionality of it all because it ain't your constitution. Where in 1890, Callie House stood on that very same constitution that those coming here was telling her wasn't hers. When she said, you know, we're going to sue the government for the taxes that y'all collected on the cotton that my ancestors picked. And I can stand on that and sue you for that because we've been day one citizens. But you still got jokers from the diaspora coming over here to us today telling us that we weren't day one citizens. That the 14th Amendment gave us our citizenship. When all the 14th Amendment did was codify our citizenship because we were already voting in all the states that it took to ratify that Constitution. See, they don't know that because it's not their Constitution. And I say this often because this is where the disrespect comes in. That's really what we're dealing with. It's not about understanding or misunderstanding, information or disinformation. It's about respect and disrespect. And disrespect allows them to try to come in and tell us what our reality is, where we, as Foundational Black Americans, and all of us on this panel have traveled. We will do extensive study, and I've said this before, and especially for myself, I'll speak for me, matter of fact, let me do that. I have done extensive study, even if I was going to spend a weekend in another Afro-populated country, so that I do not step on nobody's toes or disrespect their culture and local customs. And just show them respect that they're due because I know that white supremacy doesn't do it. And that's just for a weekend. How do you flee your country, pledge allegiance to the flag that you say ain't ours, do no research on the native population here, and then come in and try to dictate and run shit? You know what that sounds like? Colonized people, colonizing people. And I'll land my submission on this because I think this sums it up for me at least. We've all heard the saying, when you live the life of privilege, equality feels like oppression. We know that's our relationship with the white supremacists. Here's our relationship with the diaspora. When you've lived a life of cultural exploitation, boundaries feel like division. And I'll land there.
Ooh.
I love that, what he said last night, because the level of psychosis that has been taking place on a lot of these live spaces, and this goes all the way back to Clubhouse days. That's how long it's been happening, 10 years or more. But until we started pushing back, nobody gave a damn. Just let them be the whipping channel for everybody. Nobody cared. Nobody. And still, in 2026, you got people from the diaspora who will come up on these panels and try to define who we are. We don't go to the Jamaicans and try to define them. That's their business. We don't go to the Ghanaians and try to define them. That's their business. You know, we don't go to the Latinos and try to define them. That's their business. Shout out to Brother
Don't
Ted.
play with the frogs. I don't raise no chickens. That's them over there. That's their thing and the lots. And I respect that. And
So,
I like
Right.
somebody came because that lady that was talking, her voice was annoying. Her voice was very annoying. And I'm glad y'all two were there to properly represent y'all and the other brother, because this is the problem when we talk about lack of representation. We're not talking about the aesthetics of it, just having black people in the room. But as Garvey said, black people with the black consciousness.
He said, that's them over there. And we respect it. That ain't us. But at all of these folks, and it's getting so bad where people are throwing out threats, terroristic threats to us, which is diabolical. You have people who try to elbow their way into a lineage that they don't belong. Oh, well, you African. Really? According to who and whom? I don't get it. Let's move on to our brother Sincere to Love God. Hold on.
All right, so for Sincere, Uncle Chad, and Sister K Fighter.
It's not misinformation when they say it's an ideology. It's not information. These are lies, and they know that they're lying. You know what I'm saying? And so the tethers, they have their reason why they do it, because the truth pulls the rug from out from under them. You know what I'm saying? Everything, all of the unearned benefits that they're able to receive by tethering on to our history and our culture, all of that gets snatched away. So that's their reason. That's their reason for lying. But then you have some people that are from the lineage that may be a part of some of these Pan-African organizations. They got some kind of book they trying to sell. They got some kind of back to Africa trip that they trying to sell, some type of, you know, red, black, and green, something or other that they got going on that they trying to sell. And they feel like that this truth is drying that up. But the key thing is, this is not misinformation. These are lies, and these people know that they're lying. But the one lie that they tell that I want to focus in on, because like I said, Sister Brooke and Brother Divine, they already you know, they said a lot of stuff that needed to be said there. But one thing that they like to say is that us talking about that we are foundational Black Americans and that we had an ethnogenesis starting around sometime in the 1500s. They say, well, if you say that, then that means that's like you saying your history starts with slavery. You don't got no history before slavery. And they try to associate that with the brainwash from, you know, the imperialists and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But we need to make it clear. We're not saying that our history begins with slavery. We understand that we are ancient people. You know what I'm saying? We understand that our roots run deep across continents, you know what I'm saying, throughout history and time. But we are talking about an ethnogenesis, the formation of a distinct peoplehood and placement. So we understand that, you know, we are connected to the original man. Like I said, you know, I've been God body since I was a child. You know what I'm saying? That hasn't changed. Nothing about this delineation movement contradicts anything that I learned from studying those lessons. You know what I'm saying? And so we understand that we are the original man. But again, we're talking about an ethnogenesis, and we're talking about, you know, like I said, we're connected genetically and spiritually to the ancient. You know what I'm saying? But when we're talking about our cultural identity as foundational Black Americans, that's something that was forged here on this soil through the enslavement process that we went through and everything that came thereafter. You know what I'm saying? From the Middle Passage to the plantations to the Jim Crow laws, all of that. It brought about a new cultural identity that we are now calling foundational Black Americans. And so I just wanted to touch on that because that's one thing that they try to stick on. Oh, y'all saying that y'all don't got no history prior to the enslavement. So basically the white man gave y'all identity. You know what I'm saying? And so I'll land with that right there.
Shout out again to Sincere, the God. Definitely appreciate, and we are excited to go up on his platform in the near future. Before I bring on Brother Divine, while he gets himself settled behind the scenes, I'm gonna play this last clip with Brother Tad. And you guys can check the replay. It's available on Thorough Black Talk's page, YouTube page, that is. And in its entirety. You can check it out. Let's play this and come right back.
Yeah. The pushback. I laugh at the pushback. And I mean, I really appreciate Sincere, Brother Divine, Sister Brooke, because they laid out things that I don't have to repeat. But the pushback is, but to piggyback off what Brother Sincere said, they're selling something. The trips, the books, the dashikis, the all of that. These are people's identity. They have invested thousands of dollars and decades into this identity. They can't be honest with themselves and just give it up because Dr. So-and-so said. Dr. This one says this, Dr. Umar, the Prince of Pan-African, says that, and they hold on to them identities. But as I stated earlier, I've learned that my family were from the Cherokee Nations, but not did I only get that orally from the family history. I went to the Schomburg Research and Culture Center. Let's take my great-grandmother, Anna Lewis, for example. She was born in Halifax County, Virginia in 1910, right? Halifax County, Virginia. Then I learned there was a man named Dr. Walter Plecker who committed what was called paper genocide. And anybody who was non-Black, no, not non-Black, anybody who was non-white was labeled as colored. It went from Native American. Speaking of my great-grandmother, particularly, her birth certificate says she's Native American. That's her birth certificate of 1910, my grandmother's mother, my mother's grandmother. Her birth certificate says Native American. In 1924, Walter Plecker decided he was going to take the census and turn all mulattoes and Native Americans into colored or Negro. My great-grandmother was 14 years old, so when I found her census records, she's labeled as Negro, but her birth certificate says she's a Native American. My grandmother, who's still alive, who I'm actually going to see this weekend, has always said, who said I'm African? Who said I'm African? Her blood, her family, her bloodline, this lineage is tied to this soil. Now, on my mother's father's side, I traced the history to the first African during the Great Mayafa, which the Pan-Africans love to call the Mayafa, the Great Suffering, the transatlantic slave trade. He landed on the Drayton plantations in Charleston, South Carolina. So when we talk about, what we've been through as a people, our story is not linear. Our story is not one-sided. So people will see the light skin and say, oh, a white man must have. But my great-grandmother was light-skinned. Now, I don't know who, I know her grandmother. Her grandmother's name was Lavinia Hill. See, I know my family's history. How many of these people coming over here know who their great-grandmother is, let alone their great-grandmother's grandmother? They can't do that. We've been here so long, we go back too far to even say when we came here. But again, not to beat a dead horse, these people have steeped their identity in this African-centered movement, and it's hard for them to divorce it. It's hard to pivot because they spend too much. Shit, I got tons of dashikis. I got tens of thousands of dollars worth of books from Dr. Ben, Ivan Van Sertima, Baba Baruti, you name them, I got the books. Dr. Amos Wilson, I done read them all. But what they went through was their life's experience. And I always say, us here in America, Black folks, each of us, the people in the chat, people on the panel, every day we're making our own history. We don't have to be locked in and beholden to someone else's story when we're literally writing our own. This Black American Renaissance movement is a historic event that's happening right now in real time. And we need to value that. Because as much as I love Dr. Clark, as much as I love Dr. Khaled and Malcolm X, they haven't lived my life. My life has value. My story has value. What my grandmothers and my grandfather has taught me has value. And I won't divorce that to fit in with a group that's just, they lost themselves. I'm going to pass the mic to Sister Keisha, but I want to say this real quick. As we was discussing behind the scenes, Brother Knowledge Born, a lot of what you and I know is from us studying in the 90s. But what we studied in the 90s was what people were learning in the 50s and 60s. And as Sister Keisha said, we in 2026, that's antiquated information. New things have happened. These people haven't prepared us for COVID. They haven't prepared us for the crack epidemic. They hadn't prepared us for the influx of weapons that was dumped in our community and indoctrinated us with fratricide. So those of us on this panel in the chat, have to unravel all of that. That was done after the quote unquote master teachers did they works and wrote their books. So with that, I'm saying, I'm not going to divorce my identity for somebody cosplaying me, because I've been to Africa 4 times, been to Ethiopia, been to Ghana 4 times, right? Those people are trying to be us. And while we over here, we got Pan-Africans looking like Prince Hakeem and Simi and coming to America. You see how they come here dressed all crazy, all they New York Knicks stuff on? That's how Pan-Africans look, wearing this hodgepodge of dashikis and unks and jinyames and all these Akan symbols. You look like you cosplaying a group that's cosplaying you. Get honest with yourself and stand on your square. Sister Keisha, take the mic.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
You supposed to drop the bomb on that one, sis.
I just did. Stay focused. As my mother used to say, when we messed up our homework, she go, stay focused. That was a gem right there. That was a gem. We're not cosplaying Africans. We're not cosplaying Caribbeans. We're not cosplaying nobody else. We standing 10 toes down on who we are. The leaders of culture in the world. And that's just a fact. The leaders of culture in the world. One of the comments that I saw, I forget, maybe it was on Cecilia's page or ours. Somebody made commentary about us repping the American flag. And I have to say this because sometimes people get things misconstrued and they try to lump everything in one. Because you are upset with white tea supremacy, as you should be, don't lump our accomplishments in that. It's disingenuous, it's wrong, and it is hateful. This 13-year-old girl, a free Black girl, whose mother had a business as a seamstress, she worked on this flag, helped to design. A 13-year-old Black girl that a lot of people don't even know her name, know nothing about her. But you'll rep that red, black, and green, though. You see how you jump over things because you're upset with one thing? We got to knock it off. We got to knock it off.
Blow your mind. Grace Wisher's story will change the way you see the Star-Spangled Banner. Grace Wisher was an African-American girl, born around 1800, who played a crucial role in creating the iconic Star-Spangled Banner. At just 13, she worked alongside Mary Pickersgill, stitching the flag that inspired America's national anthem. Despite her significant contributions, Grace's presence wasn't depicted in historical paintings of the flag-making process. Today, historians and cultural institutions are striving to honor her legacy. At the Star-Spangled Banner Flag House in Baltimore, a ghost figure now symbolically represents Grace's role. Exhibitions and educational programs are bringing her story to light, recognizing her as an integral part of American history. Grace Wisher's story is a powerful reminder of the overlooked contributions of African Americans in shaping the early United States. Let's ensure her work on the Star-Spangled Banner is remembered and celebrated as a vital part of American heritage. This is gonna blow your...
And I don't want people to hate our accomplishments and our greatness because you hate the white tea man. It's diabolical. This week, yes. And just for some more clarity, you know, we can do it like that because we that fly with 3 flags. We can do it like that. You know, I come from a military family. They don't play about it for real. They don't play about it for real. So Dr. Ben Hayth, the Juneteenth flag. That Black American Heritage flag, Dr. Melvin Charles and Gleason Jackson out of Jersey, and Grace Wisher. Honoring 3 Black greats who highlight us in their representation. Forget what you hate. See the history for what it is. And that's why I always say, how you see history and how you view and how you understand it can either distort your perception or can help you grow. You shouldn't idolize anything because, that's not a good thing. But you should have a clear map in how you should move in the world. So I'm about to bring my brother Divine up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Let me just pull this down. Sorry, family. All right, let me pull this down. But the U.S. Freedmen Project president is in the house with us. The U.S. Freedmen Project is our lobbying organization for reparations, delineation, and disaggregation. The U.S. Freedmen's Project have put the checks and balances in place and put it on their back. But the average New Yorker don't know who they are. That's problematic because you are still stuck with antiquated information. We can't do that. This week, the White House press room was renamed after Frederick Douglass. And when I posted that on some social media spaces, Facebook in particular, that's why I don't rock with Facebook. There's too many old retards over there. But anyway, when I posted it, they said, oh, just a gesture, a symbolic gesture from those who enslaved him. Why you didn't have that energy when they named part of Brooklyn Little Haiti? Why you didn't have that energy when they named part of Brooklyn Little Caribbean? Why you don't have that energy when they named part of the Bronx Little Dominican? Why you don't have that energy? It's only with us. That's why you got to check yourself. You got to check yourself. So, welcome the U.S. Freedmen Project president to the Brooklyn Bridge. Brother Divine, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
What's going on? What's going on? Can I be heard?
Loud and crystal ding dang clear.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm trying. I finally got some equipment upgrades over here. So I'm really excited about that. That's why I'm able to be on the bridge and in the chat finally, like all the other normal people that's been doing this work. So, man, I just, what you just said is so powerful because all the things that you named, the one that jumped to the top of the list when we talking and pointing out the hypocrisy of those that are of a certain age and of a certain generation. And if you're going to say that that's just an empty gesture, which you could justify, right? But then my question is where were you when Biden named Kamala Harris a Black woman? If we're talking about empty gestures, that was one of the emptiest that I've ever seen. Because the only reason why she got picked as the vice president that year was because Biden, after the Democrats got together and rigged that Democrat primary, he promised that one of the things he would do is pick a Black woman for the vice presidency. And so I'm not here to say that any of the other alternatives were any more qualified than what a Kamala Harris was. But what I will say is that he jumped over actual Black American women that were in politics, like Keisha Lance Bottoms, like a Stacey Abrams, like a Val Demings, et cetera, et cetera. These are actual Black women that have made their bones in politics that are also in line with the Democrat Party. And you could have picked an actual Black woman to be your Black vice president that you said you would pick. But instead, You picked an East Indian woman cosplaying a Black American woman, where we can't even say that she's Afro-Jamaican because her dad is on record as being a Indo-Jamaican mixed with the Irish and his Irish slave-owning ancestors. And he's never identified as Black, nor come out to justify being called Black, as they were trying to give that label to Kamala Harris so she could run. And so when we talk about this idea of empty symbolism, if you only call it on one side, then you are a hypocrite, and I have to label you as such. Because if you're not going to call out Joe Biden as a racist as much as you're going to call out Trump for being a racist, then I don't want to hear from either side. Because I am of the mindset that both are racist. And it's our job as foundational Black Americans to get in where we fit in, as our Black American proverb has led us to where we are now and carried us a mighty long way. Because neither of these sides champion any of our causes. And so we always have to pick and choose what situation is going to be best for us and move strategically. And I just love the fact that as this movement continues to grow, we are becoming more and more what I call politically nimble, where we can find out what side works best for us in any given election, where I might vote for a Democrat on this side and I might vote for a Republican on that side in the same election. Or I might vote for neither if they're not offering me any tangibles. And that's kind of where we have to be at, policy over party. And I'll say this last thing before I take a breath, just in case we got to move the narrative along. But back to those flags that you posted up. I think it's highly important to point this out because I've said this on the bridge. And it is a matter of fact that all of you can go look up that Marcus Garvey came here and interpreted what Blackness was or what it meant to be a quote-unquote Negro through his Jamaican lens. And the only reason why we have this Pan-African flag is because he believed the white supremacists that told him that Grace Wisher doesn't have a claim to that flag. He convinced Garvey, and Garvey moved on to convince hundreds, if not thousands, of foundational Black Americans that those white supremacists were telling the truth. In his speech, in his own words, saying, yes, they told us that the coon does not have a flag, but they can say it no longer because I created one, the red, black, and green. And so when you see that red, black, and green flag, I want you to understand what you're really looking at. Not only does it not embody or represent foundational Black Americans as an ethnic group, because it is global Blackness, whatever that means, through Marcus Garvey's Jamaican lens. But whenever you see that flag, I want you to understand that what it really means is that this is the flag you need to fly because the red, white, and blue does not belong to you. Because that's why that flag was created in the first place. And I'll land here because I think this is really important. Notice how, especially when it's now in this delineation movement, they use it to denigrate us. If you've ever heard them say, oh, well, how are you going to claim America and look how the police treat you? And look, you're still second-class citizens and everybody is ahead of you. Notice how they have no problem acknowledging that there's two Americas when they want to get their pot shots in. But as soon as you want to highlight that, yes, the sins of white America have no responsibility in Black America. And everything good that you've ever experienced in this country is because Black America pushed white America to be what it said it was going to be on paper. And so if you're not going to take the corruption of your government and put it on your own flag that you fled from, as to say, this is why I should never fly this flag again, please do not try to put white America's imperialism onto Black Americans' flag that we sold with our hands.
I tell you, boy, because, and on top of that, Brother Divine, the continued hate. Because last week I played a clip of that woman, Congolese woman, saying she wanted to strap a bomb on herself and unalive us, you know. But you have people who are sharing that same sentiment.
Still stand on my statements, but if you're too dense or too angry to...
So I want to say thank you to the FBI. I want to, like you report the video, and I peel it. They restore the video again. Too bad. I mean, the video is still there though. To all the FBA who report that video, I appeal it. So they restore the video. The video is there now. I made another video. I'm gonna make another video. Unalive all the FBAs. Unalive all the FBAs. Okay. Put some match on them, all of them, and gasoline. Hang them up. Drag them. If I have the power, that's what I would do to all you FBAs. Unalive all of you guys. Hang you guys up.
Again, continued sentiment of this vile behavior. And again, I'm still waiting for these Pan-African spaces to talk about these things. Because everybody's mute. Nobody's saying nothing. That's what I'm saying. They've done it for so long. For so long disrespecting. For so long letting it slide. It's not the first time that they heard these things. It's not the first time. But they've been letting it slide for so long. You got another one. From the island of Jamaica.
And I support her 100%. I pray that I myself, if I have the power, that's what I would do. Put all the FBAs in a hole, gasoline on them, light a fire, and let it flame. That's what I would do. And it's not about delineation. It's not about that. It's about the stuff that come out of their mouth. It's just like the KKK.
I'm not wanting to take back my comments, but I am.
And I spot her.
This has been going on for years. But when I've been telling people, who say we're divisive, pull up some nights. Pull up. I share the lives. Every live I'm in, I share it. I share it on my platform. On Thorough Black Talk platform, that is. You don't want to pull up because you don't want to deal with what's real. You like to dwell in fantasy. Fantasy. And it's okay to be abusive. This is sick. This is sick. Like I said, respect Grace Wisher. You wasn't living in that time, and you wasn't living on this soil. The same way you want people to respect you and your flag, respect her. Respect those brothers out of Jersey who developed that flag you see behind President Devine. Respect Dr. Ben Hayes. Made sure he gave us something representative of Juneteenth, while other groups trying to cover up everything. Put their flag. Talk about their stuff. You wasn't here. What are you talking about? You wasn't here. That's what I'm saying. We have a great amount of tact as foundational Black Americans. We have great tact. Because we don't do that to other people. Wave your flag, rep yourself. We don't care. But because you can't be a part of this, it's a problem. It's a problem. Sister Brooke, you ready? Welcome, reparations activists out of Brooklyn, New York, up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Sister Brooke, what's happening?
Ooh, what's happening? Oh my goodness. Lord, y'all was cooking. I was so jealous. I was, driving like a mad woman. You know what I'm saying? Doing everything I can to get here tonight. And I was listening as I was on my way. Yeah, y'all been cooking in here. Y'all smell that? Oh my goodness, you smell what the Thorough Black talk is cooking, okay? Yeah. I'm happy to be here tonight. Hello, Sister Marcia. Hello, Brother Black. Hello, President Divine, and hello, Sister Keisha. And may our love be with Brother Tad as he is with his family. Love be with him and his family as he is with his family. Okay, which is also an extended part of our family.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Shout out to Doggy Diamonds, always checking us up. He was there last night, rocking out with us a little bit. So those disrespectful, xenophobic clips that I played, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Because see, all of y'all in these spaces, you close your ears and your eyes to what's going on. This movie, diabolical.
Oh,
hold on, I'm gonna play this right now.
I already know what you're about to play. Lord Jesus.
Immigrant Jamaicans making diaspora movies instead of their conditions. Now Deontay Cow. Never mind. Let me play the clip.
Yeah, please.
No, there's more where that came from.
All right, so first we had a gentleman, a Kenyan brother, that tried to take planes and do a 9/11 style unalive tea attack to Black Americans in Atlanta. Second, we had a woman that said she want to strap on a BOMB, find a group of Black Americans and boom them along with a suicide mission. Third, we had another lady called Mama Africa that agreed with the lady that said she want to bone the Black Americans. She said, in fact, she want to tie a bunch of Black Americans together and put gasoline on them and light them on fire. Now we have a diaspora war movie, family. We can't make this up. See, Dante Cows wants you to sit back, to the twiddle your fingers, not say no. We got a diaspora war movie, family. Who does this? So the movie is about taking Black Americans, right, in the country of Jamaica, sacrificing them for the healing of Jamaica, family. This can't be real. I can't believe it.
Chango, did you see the sacrifice I gave you today? Darren's already healing from the gift. No, there's more where that came from.
First, let's break this scene down. First, she's praying us out the house, right? The house is the United States of America. We live in luxury, we live in good, we doing well, and we got people outside the house, aka United States of America, praying on our downfall, right? This is in direct correlation. We're gonna break this. This is how I interpret it, right? They praying on our downfall, right? And then on another scene, we have the soft and sweet Black American that think these people are for us. The soft and sweet Black Americans that love too much and not understand these people are out to undermine. The soft and sweet, we are the word Black American that don't mind being the carpet for the world to walk on, that don't want to wake up and realize a lot of these people are not kinfolk. They get now, if we look at the scene, the brother now was making love, which is the love we have for the so-called diaspora, and she turned on him and started eating off of his energy, right? Break it down to what it is in the real world. His energy, his inner God, the energy that she's eating off of is the political energy, it's the economic, the $1.9 to $2.6 trillion, which is more than their country's GDP combined, right? The social energy, because we are the trendsetters of the world, the most emulated in the world, right? And so this is in direct correlation to what's happening in real life. They're coming here like they want to be friends with a soft and sweet Black Americans, the one that want to kumbaya with everybody, right? They are accepting everybody and not understand these people are energy vampires. This is a direct correlation because she's eating and using the spirit and the soul of Black Americans to sacrifice for the betterment of her country. Family, this movie is very symbolic, family. I love she put this movie out there. I love that she put this movie out there. This is a very symbolic movie because this is literally in direct correlation to real life. the Black Americans that want to be the carpet for the world to walk all over, they're the ones that's allowing these people to come in, eat off everything they can from them until they have nothing left, until they unalive. And then the only people that benefit for the last 65 years is them, the immigrant class, and they're fixing their country without political energy, without economic energy, without social energy. And she wrote on Twitter, right, gaslighting, saying she made a movie to show that Black Americans are better, right? They think they're better than everybody else. Of course, the immigrant class sided with her because, again, they're going to always side with each other. We all know the white people was in cahoots and funded the movie because I always say the prerequisite of an immigrant to become a United States citizen is to be anti-Black American and side with the white T and the systems in place. So it's definitely on code and on brand that she got funded from certain people to make a movie about Black Americans. Although she could have made movies about having beaches, she could have made movies about the hurricane that just tore the whole country up. She could have made awareness in a movie about the fact that the Chinaman owned 80% of their land. She could have had so much like things she could have talked about, but she talked about Black Americans. And then in the same breath, they say, you guys think you're the main character, but you make us literally the main character. Family, let me know what y'all think, family. This is crazy.
Shout out to Brother Foundational American, always doing the thing. But can you believe that? I can.
What's the name of the movie again, Sister Keisha?
We'll deal with that later. I'm not giving no shine. Hold on. We've been dealing with this for years. This kind of behavior, this is mild compared to what was going on Clubhouse. It's mild. These people were having on Clubhouse, having mock slave trials, slave auctions, rather. Nobody cared. Stay in your bubble, keep your head down. Brother Divine, your thoughts?
Oh, I'm glad you came to me because I couldn't even hold it no more. And because this is emblematic, right? And this is the way I'm glad Foundational American said what he said, because this is how they gaslight, right? Because even now with the Mama Africa and the Sierra Leonean woman that is making threats of actual violence, right? They'll say, oh, it's not about this, but it's about what's coming out of their mouths and the things they're saying. Remember, family, remember, in the 1920s, Marcus Garvey, after coming over here to meet Booker T. Washington and celebrating us and talking good about us, got with his white supremacist KKK member friends and was talking cash shit about foundational Black Americans, saying we didn't build anything in this country and that we don't have a right to anything that the white men built here. Doesn't that sound familiar with the tethers of today? Or you're only in your position, nigga, because of the white man. Without the white man, where would you be? Don't they say that today? That was 1920. We're talking about over 100 years ago. See, we didn't throw the first blow. We just always throw the best blow. And so when you get your ass knocked out, figuratively, but you think you're going to run up physically, let me leave it. I'm not even going to go there. But listen, just understand, you might always throw the first blow, but the best blow always come at the hands of the foundational Black Americans. Like Brother Tal was saying last night, we got a long documented history of taking names and kicking ass. So you can get on that list if you want to. But I wanted just the family to understand that we never threw the first blow. In fact, we supported Marcus Garvey for the most part. He built his movement on our Black identity. The rest of the world had never thought to unite based on melanin. Just look at the continent. They're still disunited today. They don't say, oh, we're all just African, let's unite against our common oppressor. Matter of fact, we're all Nigerian. Let's unite against the person or the persons that are oppressing us. No, they have a caste system in Nigeria today with ethnic conflicts today. And that is in the majority of the countries on the continent today. So when they come to us and put the burden of faux unity on us, and we're just rejected because we could see a phony and fake person a mile away, now all of a sudden it's time to denigrate us and talk shit about us, and we're just not having it. And mind you, she got highlighted. This Camille chick, this Jamaican woman who was a divester, she got highlighted because she made a stereotypical buffoon of a superhero for kids, for a kids show, Captain Durag. And so remember, from there, she was like, okay, this is our culture. Why can't y'all just celebrate that we created a character for our culture? Meaning us, we're just all Black. Then we find out about this movie that she made before she made that character. See, we got to get the timeline right. See, she didn't make this movie after making the character and getting called out. This movie was already made, where she was sacrificing Black American tourists for the benefit of Jamaica. Then went and made a stereotypical character that looked like she stole from somebody else, but that's a whole nother story. And this goes right into that talking point that the diaspora love to try to throw in our face as a gotcha when they say, oh, well, we're not that big of a population in America. We're even a smaller population amongst everybody that's Black in the United States. See, but that just goes to buffer the point we're making about you guys tethering and being elevated by the system of white supremacy. See, because if foundational Black Americans are 80% of the quote-unquote African-American community here, and you are only 20%, how in the world do you get elevated to damn near every position of power over foundational Black Americans who are the overwhelming majority and have been in this country long before you ever got here? See, the only way that happens is if the system, which is a system of white supremacy, and we all agree to that, is picking you specifically and elevating you. See, because you're 20%, you know how hard I would have to try to dig my hand into a bag of 10 marbles and pick out the 2 that represent you every time I'm looking for a first Black? The math on that is impossible. Unless the bag is see-through. And I can pick those 2 anytime I want because I'm looking dead at them. Like they're looking dead at you, that has us looking dead at you. And I'll land on this because I don't want to belabor this long. The reason why their response to us delineating and calling us xenophobic is this level of brash and blatant violence is because, one, foundational Black Americans has never been xenophobic. And we've never been xenophobic like them because guess what? In every other country where they are actually being xenophobic to each other, violence has always ensued. We have never been violent to them, even in cases where we should be. And we're trying to keep it that way. But you can go around the quote-unquote diaspora, and they have physically taken up violence against each other. Where you talk about what they're doing to them in South Africa, what they're doing to the Haitians around the Caribbean, not just in Dominican Republic, what happens with these ethnic and tribal conflicts, they are killing each other. and want to label African booty scratcher as xenophobia.
Tell you, boy, I tell you, Sister Brooke, from your long travels, what's happening, sis? Your thoughts on that?
So, when people say things that like Black Americans are the white tea people of the diaspora, when people say things like Black Americans or the KKK, because isn't that what she said? Isn't that a quote from the video you just played, that Black Americans are the KKK of the diaspora? Let me remind you that what you saw in that video was her with a Black American's entrails in her hands, gobbling with our blood on her face as she ingested, cannibalized, and took in our very life force. Who did that, ladies and gentlemen? Who did that to us on this land? Who would hang you from a tree, cut you open to where your entrails become your outrails, and then ingest you and your life force? Who did that?
Come on,
never
come on.
In the history of Black America have we ever done some nasty shit like that. Never. So when people say these words, y'all don't even know what you're saying. But you sit here and make a movie like that, and then Disney. Let's not act like that Disney didn't know, because we need to start a campaign against Disney. How dare Disney put a woman who made a movie like this in charge of children? Of writing things for children? This is not an adult show she's making. This is a problem. She will be stopped. And she's about to lose her job. She will go the way of Essence Fest. She will go the way of Monaleo. She will go the way of Kamala Harris's presidential wishes. She will go the way of Andrew Gillum's presidential wishes. She will go the way of what's that woman in Atlanta who's now in Africa, who they letting over there in Africa act a goddamn fool. I can't even think of her name right now. She big as a house. I don't know.
Stacey
Abrams. She will go the way of Stacey Abrams. We're not playing with y'all. You're not going to sit up here and make something like that. And did you think we wouldn't find out, bitch? Did you think? And I remember specifically hearing Haitians say that we are the KKK, that we treated them. And you say shit like that when you don't understand the history of who the Ku Klux Klan was. They would run up in your house in the middle of the night while you were sleeping, set your cross on fire in your front lawn and burn you out of your house. And as you run out, they would shoot hot lead into you. Or if you're lucky, because if not, then they take your children and do whatever they want to them and then eat them. and then take you and string you up on a tree and then eat you. We don't have a history. You know who don't have a history of cannibalism? Us. But you just sat there and watched her make them. And let me tell you about some of, when we talk about how we depict the diaspora in movies, let's talk about it. Because I became very obvious of this during the Olympics when it was Jamaica against the United States in running. When they was talking crazy, because I realized then, for Black Americans, it was America first. And even if the American might have been a white person, then it's the Black people, whoever's Black. That's how we rooted for the Olympics. Everybody else votes for their country first, and anybody but us. That's what that taught me. But you know what we did? What movie we made when the Jamaicans had a bobsled team, even though they were a Caribbean in an island with no goddamn snow? You know what we did? We made a show. We made a movie, and we went out and supported that movie in mass. We made a movie praising, saluting, because we were shocked. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. We like, how you did this and you didn't have no snow? We were proud of y'all for being able to do that. And we looked at that and said, look at the Black people. But when it came around to our time, you didn't see us as your brethren. You didn't see our sistren as your sistren. You saw her as an open enemy. As a matter of fact, you would root for a white person over us. And let me bring to your remembrance, because we played that Akata clip. We always focus on the Akata part and the fight that ensued thereafter. Let's focus on the conversation between the brothers.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You cooking.
The conversation between the brothers was, yo, let's work with these Africans so we don't have to work with these Italians and the white folks. I would rather work with the Africans than to work with these Italians, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we could work something out with them. And Nino Brown was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Let's see what we could do. Let's see what we could do. And you know what the Africans said? We cannot work with you. So if they can't work with us, who were they working with?
Come on.
The Italians and the white folks. So boo-boo, don't come around now asking for a truce. That was, what year was that movie? 1989?
Mm-hmm. Something like that, yeah.
Don't come around now asking for a truce. We've been wanting to work with you. We've been making movies where, and then we made Coming to America. It was a comedy because we like comedies. We like jokes, okay? We like comedies. If you mad about a comedy, that's on you. But we made you the richest person in the movie. We make movies praising your culture. Mm-hmm. Look at Tariq Nasheed. As much as y'all want to talk shit about Tariq Nasheed, look how he revered your cultures and your countries from Haiti to Africa.
Come on.
And y'all gave him, and y'all are giving him your ass to kiss.
Yep.
Every chance you get, you come on his show, on his live, talking crazy and think he's not going to talk crazy back to you. He don't care what lineage you from. You talk crazy to him, he going to talk crazy to you, whether you FBA or not. So why you think you going to get some special privilege? I know crazy to correct. You out your goddamn mind. He ain't nothing out of me.
Mm-hmm.
So
good.
So when I'm gonna tie it all together, I'm wrapping it up. So when you're asking how come we're divisive, when you're asking how come we're delineating, it's because y'all been doing it from day one. We just didn't see it because you had our hue of melanin. And we're sick of it. Like my mother says all the time, enough is enough and too much stinks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with you. And I'll land it.
Man.
Okay, 1994. Oh, I was a little older than I thought.
Crystal. Thank you for that clarification. We appreciate that.
I thought I was younger than that.
Now, because I'm bringing it out in the forefront of what's been going on, because, you know, maybe they're not up, but they should be, because these lives are 24/7.
Come on.
These lives are 24/7. Okay? Get your behind over there on TikTok and X so you can know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Get out the Facebook maze and see what's happening for real.
Mm-hmm.
Because this dude, Tory, let me just play the clip and we'll come right back. Hold on.
Of the time, it is wrong for a white person to call a black person the N-word, but we may have found the exception. In Minneapolis recently, a white anti-ICE protester was in a group of anti-ICE protesters yelling at a black ICE Gestapo agent. An unidentified white male called the black ICE agent a house N-word who's working for the KKK. That's right, we have a white man calling a black man the N-word. But this is a little bit different. White on black usage of the N-word is a very serious issue. But this is a curveball example. Is it wrong for a white person to call a black ICE officer a house N-word? Let's explore. The white man who used the N-word in this situation was being historically precise. This black ICE agent, he is being a house N-word to the utmost degree. A black man in ICE is a modern house slave. He's a barely paid mule for white supremacy. The KKK were domestic terrorists. ICE is domestic terrorism. I think this is a valid usage of the N-word. He's not attacking his blackness per se. He's attacking his bootlicking choice to be in ICE while being a black man. Being black in ICE makes you a house N-word. So to call you that, it's almost like a professor pointing out, oh, look, there's a modern house N-word. I think this usage is valid and acceptable. If it had just been the N-word, that would be problematic. But when he adds the house N-word, he's being historically realistic. So yes, it is okay to call black ICE agents house N-words.
You don't speak for us.
Another one, immigrant lineage. You see how diabolical this is?
Diabolical.
Energy when Suge was out. I don't know if y'all remember. There was an interview.
I've heard about it.
That took place. And he was trying to be slick with the comments. And Suge pressed him. And he almost pooped his pants. You ain't about that life. The son of immigrant lineage, this dude Torre, made a killing off of our culture. Your dusty parents came over here and you've been making a living off our culture. And you say some stuff like that. You diabolical, rat-faced, ratatouille looking mother effer. Your thoughts on this foolishness. Because I'm bringing it all out tonight. Receipts on top of receipts.
I see Divine came off his mic. I'm going to let him go.
Receipts on deck, man. Like, Oh man, like this, and man, this is what we're talking about when we say things we say, and this is specifically what I'm talking about when I talk about the interpretation of what it means to be Black through your specific lens and lived experience. And what we're seeing is that Blackness filtered through the Caribbean lens gets distorted every time. And this would be something, right? So here's where it's coming out, and like it's a twofold, right? It's a double lens, because I can see a foundational Black American Democrat shill saying the same thing, because that's essentially what he's doing, right? He's weaponizing his quote unquote Blackness and giving it to a political party, because that's what he's pointing out, right? It really becomes, oh, I'm pro-ICE or I'm anti-ICE, right? And because he's anti-ICE, and that's the position of the party that he shills for, he then uses whatever he reaches for, whatever he can weaponize to empower his party over the collective.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but here is a distinction with a difference that needs to be said, because this is another talking point coming from the tethers of the diaspora. They will point out our raccoons and say, well, since they're undermining you, you should have no problem with us undermining you.
Mm-hmm.
And to that, I say this, and this is another Black American proverb and something that is deep in our foundational Black American culture. My mother always taught us that whatever happens in this house stays in this house. And so just because I might be having full out, drag out fist fights with my brother, when we leave that house, my mother called it a united front. And she talked to me as the oldest. If I find out that you let something happen to your brother, you ain't got to worry about what they were going to do to you, because when you get here, I'm going to do it to you worse. And so no fight between me and my brother justified me being able to accept the undermining that came from outside of our house.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're getting in order right now. Our foundational Black American cultural house. I don't give a damn what any foundational Black American sellout does. That does not mean I have to accept you being imported over here, pledging allegiance to white supremacy, and then deal with you selling me out because they selling me out. I'm going to deal with them. Trust and believe. But I'm also going to deal with your undermining ass in a very different way, because you are not family. See, no matter how much fighting I've done with my brother, he's put enough deposits into the foundational Black American bank that when he comes up short, he has a certain line of credit that you don't have, because you never put a deposit in that bank. And you just come in here to take, and
take.
And so that other lens, right, getting back to Torre, is that not only is he shilling for the Democrats and weaponizing his Blackness, because the diaspora, thank you, Holy Ghost, because the diaspora does not have a lived experience or long history of identifying as Black, they don't have the same value and reverence for Black that we have. So because he's a Democrat shill, plus a Caribbean tether, when he reaches for that Black that he knows he's going to co-opt and exploit, he can do it unapologetically, because Black has no value to him in the first place. In juxtaposition to us that have a value on Blackness and will feel some kind of way when we are forced to or have to use it and exploit it for personal gain. See, we can still reach out to a foundational Black American raccoon in ways that we could never reach a tether, because they have no connection to the culture and no value on the Blackness that they will exploit like they exploit any and everything else. There is no connection between us, a cultural connection, a familial connection. There is no connection. The connection never existed. That was the greatest lie, or one of the greatest lies of Pan-Africanism. They told us they look like you, so therefore they are your brother and your sister or your cousin, and you should treat them as such. But in no other arena have we ever went out and treated strangers the same way we treated our family, even when we weren't doing anything maliciously. And so we are in a culture and in a state of stranger danger. And all those people that they told us was our distant cousins, we are finding out they are absolute strangers and have been moving with us as such. And so I'm feeling a whole bunch of mutual energy coming out right about now. You show respect, you can get respect. But in the words of my man X, you know if it's fuck me, it's definitely gonna be fuck you. And that's where we at.
Whew. So President Devon said he don't have no reverence for blackness, and we know this to be true. Look at his wife. Look at his children. He did his best to make sure they don't look nothing like him. Nothing like his lineage. They look like that wife, that Lebanese wife with the white skin. He made sure that they're them, you know what I'm saying, to get as far away from blackness as possible. And baby, I didn't even know he had a wife. I thought the boy had sugar in his shoes, okay? I was shocked to find out that he liked women's, because he moved like he got sugar in that tank. But we're going to keep going.
Y'all know he live in Brooklyn, right? He live in Brooklyn.
We don't care. I better not see him outside.
Hold up. Because I wrote down all my points, so I ain't going to lose my train of thought. I'm going to take a second with you. You know what I saw happen in the Bronx? And this explains a lot. You know, I saw that this girl parked her car in the Bronx and they stole all 4 of her doors. Yeah, that's what happened in the Bronx. So don't be talking. I want you to say about Brooklyn. He is not from Brooklyn. He is a transplant.
He live in Brooklyn. I ain't say he's from Brooklyn.
He can't. A lot of people live in Brooklyn. What that mean? It's gentrified by people like him and his Lebanese wife and his Lebanese children. That don't mean nothing. Who took those doors? Brother Black, return the lady doors, okay? And stop selling them to the chop shop. Anyway, I'm just.
I ain't been in New York in almost 10 years.
I'm just playing with you. I know you ain't had nothing to do with them ladies.
That's what you get for jumping in.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I had to get you for a little bit. Okay, back to business. So, you know, as you guys know, East Flatbush, I've had a lot of conversations about a lot of different things. And I remember one of the conversations that I had with somebody was, how come if you guys have coons in your society, how come we can't do it too? How come other people from the diaspora can't do those things too? And we were specifically having a conversation about Steve Harvey. How come? And I was like, I said, even though Steve Harvey did some things that we do not like, Steve Harvey has done years and years of community service. He has a camp for boys that he lets Black American boys go to for free, where he's teaching them manhood and all of these things. So he's put some skin in the game. He's put some equity in the bank, as opposed to people who have no skin, who have no equity, and all you're doing is taking and trying to withdraw when you have no money in the account. So we will spank Steve Harvey and give him an opportunity to get on the right path, as opposed to someone like anyway, as opposed to anybody else. Okay? Because you ain't put no skin in the game. You ain't never did nothing for us. You ain't never did nothing for the community. You ain't did nothing for the kids. You ain't done nothing. Why should I give you a pass? No, we gonna pack you up and send you back where you came from. Okay. Then the other point I want to make is that I used to also explain it to people this way. And the reason why we have to delineate. Okay. And this is my nice way when I'm talking to a friend. It's like when you're a parent, right? And let's say you're the fun parent. All the kids come to your house to come eat, come play games, chill out, all those things. Everybody comes to your house. But God forbid something happened to your child. Your child is now in the hospital, right? You gonna still allow all these kids to come over to the house? You like, oh, stop everything. I got to focus on my baby. Get my baby back together. And that is what delineation is all about. We got to focus on our baby. I can't feed everybody right now. My child, which is the foundational Black American culture, heritage, future, and history, is on the line right now. Is sick right now. I got to focus on getting my baby well. And then once I focus on getting my baby well, if your baby behaves themselves, because you ain't gonna come over to my house acting a goddamn fool, okay? You hear me? If you behave yourself, but if you come over to my house and you're stealing, you come over the house and you take your dirty shoes and grind them in my couch. You come over to my house and you take poops in my toilet. You know what I'm saying? And you come over to my house, you smudge shit all over the walls. You ain't coming back to my house. But if you come over here after we get our shit in order, if you come over to my house and you got some respect, then you could come on in. But until then, I'm focusing on my baby. And that door is locked. And I want to say something about the house nigga. There was a house nigga. She would be considered a house nigga. I don't remember her name. But there's a book about her. And she ran away. Because the house niggas were brutalized the most, were raped the most, and tortured the most. This woman was brutalized so much that her mom, once you got to be an elder slave, enslaved person, a lot of times they would give you your little house, you know, a little bit farther, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're on the plantation still, but they give you your little shack or whatever. Her mother had her little house. She ran away and hid under the house for 2 years. Do you understand me? Could you imagine living under the crawl space of a house in the South for snakes, winter, bugs, raccoons? I mean, the real ones, not what's his name? You know what I mean? Not Dr. Ron Daniels. I mean, real raccoons. All of the animals and the vermin and everything that live under the house in the South. There were times where she didn't stand up for like hours at a time because she just had to stay under this house, because if she tried to leave the state, he wanted her back so bad. He was looking for her for 2 years. And she knew that if she ran to another state, that the slave catchers would find her and bring her back. So she laid low for 2 years under the house. She was a house nigga. So again, we have another situation where we got somebody who don't understand the history of house niggas. We, foundational Black Americans, would be considered the house niggas of the diaspora. Why? Because we live on the land with our colonizers. France wasn't still living in Haiti. Britain wasn't still living in Jamaica. Britain wasn't still living in Barbados. They left y'all, and they left you with people that they knew they could trust to run the plantation of your island just as they would if they weren't there. They couldn't trust, they knew they couldn't trust us like that. They had to stay here and watch us. So as you talk about the house nigga, you think you're denigrating somebody. You think you're calling somebody something terrible. But I'm a proud person that lives in the house with my master and faces him every day, or the people that they used to call master. I'm proud to live in the place of the colonizer and look him in the eye every day and say, fuck you. I don't have to look into my cousin's face because my cousin is the overseer. I don't have to look into the prime minister's face, who is more loyal to the colonizer who lives thousands of miles away and still related to you, grew up with you, and treat you like garbage while they are loyal to the king. So again, we have somebody who don't know the history, opening his mouth, talking about shit he don't know and don't understand. Thank you, President Divine. Her name was Harriet Jacobs because she deserved to have her name ring in the universe. Harriet Jacobs. That could you imagine? When I read that story, I said 2 years? We can't even take a flight. People with long legs. We be complaining after a flight to California with our long legs and how our knees feel. This woman hid under her house for 2 goddamn years. That's a house nigga. So I don't want to, just like with Uncle Tom, I'm tired of people getting the story wrong. I'm tired of people who don't know the history making jokes and laughing about shit they don't understand and shit they not connected to.
I think the book is Incident in the Life of a Slave Girl or something like that.
Yes, that's
been a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
You know, I be forgetting. I read so much stuff, I forget where I read it.
Yeah.
But that is it. And 2 years?
Hold on. Let me get the people some clarity.
Come on.
Before you move on.
Life of Harriet Jacobs, 1813 to 1897. Harriet Jacobs, author of Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, revealed the horrifying sexual exploitation of enslaved Black women. Born into slavery in North Carolina, Jacobs was subjected to relentless harassment from her owner, Dr. James Norcom. As a young girl, she lived in constant fear of assault. To protect herself, she entered a relationship with a white neighbor, Samuel Sawyer, and had 2 children with him, believing it would shield her from Norcom's advances. Norcom's rage only intensified. Fearing for her life, Jacobs escaped and spent 7 agonizing years hiding in a tiny crawl space above her grandmother's shack. A space so small she could not even stand up. From this cramped hiding spot, she watched her children play outside, unable to touch or comfort them. Jacobs's powerful narrative exposed the intersection of race, gender, and violence in slavery, and it can be verified in her autobiography, first published in 1861. For more factual, real-life...
And I had it wrong. It was 7 years?
Yes, 7. Yes. Get that book if you can. Get that book. It's downstairs somewhere. Yeah, get that book if you can.
And her mother used to sneak food to her. Sneak food to her underneath the floor. And her mother, she couldn't tell the kids where she was at. She couldn't. Nobody knew she was under there by her mom's. She couldn't tell anybody. This is our history.
That's right.
And you think for 1 second I'm gonna let some Johnny come lately come and tell me who the fuck I am? Who the fuck my ancestors are? You have lost your ever-loving mind. I come from people who would do something like that. I don't come from people who would who would leave their homeland, get on their knees and renounce their citizenship from their country and then pledge allegiance to this one. And then denigrate the people who made it possible for you to do it. I don't come from people who do that.
Sister Keisha, can I say something real fast?
Go in.
I just want to add this because, you know, we are really dispelling a lot of the myths. You said we bring it all to the forefront. We got to bring it even when there's something when we got to correct our people and those that are not adversarial. And so I saw one of the comments and you see, I just want to make sure I read it correctly. So yeah, I think it's a sister, Nora, I don't want to mess it up, but she said we don't have the mentality of HNs, we have the mentality of the FNs. You know, talking about the house niggas and the field niggas. So I know there has been much propaganda and stories and anecdotes and parables told using that dichotomy, especially one of the most famous ones being Malcolm X. But I really need the family to understand, like Sister Brooke just pointed out, that is not where the line was drawn when you're making that distinction. Because you had coons in the field and you had coons in the house. And so I need you to understand that we don't have the spirit of everybody that was in the field and or everybody, or not the spirit of everybody that was in the house. If we're in this movement, you're pushing this line forward, you have the spirit of our ancestors that were the riders, whether they were in the house, whether they were in the field, whether they were in the swamp, whether they were going back and forth on that Underground Railroad. I need us to understand that we have riders in every area. There are roads and or escapes on record where the head person in charge or the person that played the integral role was the one that was in the house because he was closest or she was closest to the information that they needed in order to plan the escape or plan that revolt. So like I said, I understand the speech and I'm not knocking our brother Malcolm X. But I just need us to understand as we move this actual history forward that we have riders all over the place that help contribute to us being in the position that we are in now. And there is no, from at least from my level of research. Now, there might be where we can figure out the percentage, and maybe we can say, well, the majority of those in the house acted this way, or the majority of those in the field acted this way. But as of right now, I want us to start embracing the fact that we had riders inside, outside, on all sides. And that was the only way we could have made it as far as we've made it. And so I just want to make sure we put that out there.
I'm glad you touched on that because this is what I mean, family, when I say folks are stuck with antiquated information. And they're idolizing this antiquated information. It doesn't make you smart, doesn't make you aware, it makes you an idiot. That's just the truth of it, of the matter. But remember early last year in the summer when the Africans took over the Essence Fest, talking mad junk. Caroline Wenger, former CEO, went on a Breakfast Club and talked about her slave trading family. Talked about, Joe Law versus Jambalaya and all this old crazy stuff. Right? You better get the hell out of our way. You better get the hell up out of our way. Because now you're all in debt of all the years of the Essence Fest. Y'all come and screw it up. But again, agent provocateurs. Agent provocateurs. Check this out.
Things are not looking good for the 2026 Essence Festival. Let's talk about debts owed and questions being asked. So to make a long story short, Louisiana legislators are saying that the people at the Essence Festival are not paying their bills. Yes, you heard me correctly. There are still outstanding bills from the 2025 Essence Festival that are still due, and people have some serious questions. Sundown Media is the company that owns Essence Festival. Sundown Media is also owned by West African businessman Richelieu Dennis. I'm going to just call him Rich for this. And they're saying that Rich's company, Sundown Media, owes the convention center, the New Orleans Convention Center, over $406,000. Now, as of last week, they actually owed the convention center $450,000, a little bit over. They did issue a $50,000 check. Therefore, the balance to the convention center is now $406,000. In addition to owing the New Orleans Convention Center, local vendors are also saying that they are owed money too. Some local vendors, for instance, are saying that they're owed about $1 million for production costs for putting on last year's Essence Festival. Now, traditionally, after these type of events, you have about 30 days to settle your tab. We are way over that now. So we're going to watch and see this story to see how it progresses for the 2026 Essence Festival. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole kerfuffle that happened in 2025 with the Essence Festival, but I will say this to Rich Dennis, who recently took over the Essence Festival and managing and producing it last year. You got to pay your bills, especially since you're new and upcoming with owning and managing this event. So get down in the comments and let me know what you think about the Essence Festival company Sundown owing the New Orleans Convention Center over $406,000, as well as owing local New Orleans vendors money. And also get down in the comments and let me know if you plan to attend the 2026 Essence Festival and support it in the future. Let me know. If you found value in this post, please make sure to like as well as share. And don't forget to follow the Black Death Society for your next daily brief.
Crazy. Crazy. Destroyed an institution. Diabolical. But again, like the Nigerian that we played a couple of weeks ago, they come to tick. They come to tick. That's what they said. Now we believe you. We believe you. Because now you're coming for our reparations. Now you're coming. We are these diaspora loving folks. You know. They coming for our reparations. The Freeman Reparations Fund Trust has formally sent notice to Ghana and the African Union. We support historical truth. We support acknowledgement of slavery as a crime against humanity, but reparations must be legally precise. Again,
reparations for the transatlantic slave trade, colonialism, and apartheid were designated as a flagship priority of our union. In line with that decision, I was entrusted with the mandate to serve as African Union champion for reparations. This is not merely a title, it's a solemn obligation to pursue truth, recognition, and justice for our ancestors and for generations yet unborn. At the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September 2025, I announced that Ghana would lead the effort to table a resolution declaring slavery and the transatlantic slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity. That commitment marked the beginning of a structured diplomatic and legal process. I directed the Minister of Foreign Affairs to establish a high-level committee to coordinate consultations, refine the legal framework, and prepare a draft text consistent with international law and diplomatic practice. Today, I'm pleased to report significant progress. The initiative is firmly grounded in international law. Slavery is prohibited under international law as a peremptory norm, a jus cogens principle from which no derogation is permitted. The resolution builds upon this legal foundation and rests on three pillars. First is historical accuracy. Second is legal defensibility. And third is continental and diaspora alignment. We've ensured that the text of this resolution reflects rigorous scholarship, moral clarity, and diplomatic credibility.
I'm glad President Trump knocked that out. No, don't think so. But again, when you look at the transatlantic slave trade, remember the area of Ghana was called Upper Volta, right? That's what they called it before it had a name. You know, we've been on this soil before Ghana had his name. But check this out.
This depicts how they are destined. So this tells you the kind of suffering that the slaves have went through. Because how he's chained like this, he remained there like that. No matter how scorching the sun is in it. No matter how heavy rain is falling, it's in it. You can't say I'm tired. You can't say I want to pee. You can't say I want to shit. You can't say I'm hungry. You can't say I'm thirsty. You are just there like that, waiting and praying for someone to come and buy you.
So I try to say that the slaves, at the point they wish they will be bought.
Oh yes.
Rather than.
Yes. So sometimes even when they see people coming, they try to be active so that he's strong, he's this or that. So you buy him and then he'll be free.
So that he'll be free.
Yes, even though he doesn't even know where you are taking him or head to, but they just want to be bought and then be free.
So just so that this thing can
be removed, and then you also move out of the sun.
Oh.
Because whilst here they are fed once a day, they have little to eat. Be in a scorching sun the whole day, yet you have little water to drink. That is the ordeal of the slaves.
So you asking for reparations when you openly ran your own slave markets. Mind you, they were so brutal, as the tour guide said, they begged to be sold. Didn't know what was going to happen because those cocksuckers were so brutal. And this is the part of history people like to leave out. You want to romanticize something just to make you feel a certain way. That's not the role of history. It's not the role of history. It's to give you a clear guideline. Sister Brooke, your thoughts?
Girl, I don't know if you want my thoughts on this one. But you know I'm about to go off. Because you put something up there that inflames me. So before I go off, I do want to say one thing, because I talked about this in the chat. Going back to that video with the Jamaican girl. Jamaica, the country, Jamaica, the island, needs to renounce her in that movie. How many tourism dollars do we spend going over there? Is this what we can expect? Cannibalism when we go over there? I need the island of Jamaica and your presidente, your prime minister, whatever y'all got over there, to renounce her and her movie, Prontosaurus. Arthur, won't you send a letter about that? Since you like to send certified letters. Now we could talk about the other part. Now, as far as Ghana is concerned, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And it's a good thing that the Freedmen, I have nothing against the Freedmen Trust and them sending letters about things like that. However, there are other things that come out of that conglomerate that are questionable. And I would say that before anyone verifies themselves You need to watch the interviews that he has done with, what was her name, President Devon? Help me, please.
Dominique DePrima.
Dominique DePrima. Before you give him one penny, before you give him your personal information, before you trust him with your lineage and this fake verification, because you do not need to be verified for reparations. All you need is to be able to trace your lineage to the 1870 census. As long as you can do that, which I have done on Ancestry.com, you don't have to have verification. So although I am 100% with the certified letters that anyone can send, that he sends, I am going to make sure that the family is protected from other parts of his organization that I do not feel are on the up and up. And if you don't like what I said, come see me. I said what I said. And if anyone has any questions about what I said, go hear what he said on Dominique DePrima, because it's there for all to hear. Back to Ghana, because that was a little in-house cleaning. See, when I told you, I play no games, foreign or domestic. If you are a problem, I'm going to confront you and tell you about it, even if you are of my lineage. And the verification process, in my opinion, is a problem that he has over there is a problem. I said it. Back to Ghana. Who you think you are to think you're going to get paid off of us twice? I said this last night. Ghana's mad because they made a bad business deal. Because they were so dumb, they sold their best, brightest, and family members for cowrie shells, bottles, umbrellas, mirrors, and china. Pattern plates and whatnot. In case you know, I know the younger generation don't know what china means, but you know that big closet at your grandma's house that had all those pattern plates? That is china. Okay? Instead of gold or diamonds or anything that actually had value. And if you think I'm lying, look up the slave trade in Nigeria, where they will tell you, oh, we sold people. This umbrella right here was 100 human beings. Now, I don't have the number exactly right, but he'll tell you how many human beings that they talk about like we're pennies. So what you're not going to do is get upset about the business deal that you had with your co-conspirator, aka the white supremacist, aka the colonizer, and then try to get paid on our reparations. That boo-boo, that's my birthright. You already got paid. And in a minute, we're going to come see you. Keep inserting your nose. See, we trying to stay focused on the white supremacists, but you keep putting your nose where it don't belong. Maybe we need to come see you. Maybe we need to invoke the ghosts of the people you did voodoo on to make sure that they did forget where they come from, to come see you and take the revenge that you have been afraid of for hundreds of years. The very same revenge that you try to mitigate with your potions, spells, and ring around the rosies. Keep putting your name in our business. We're going to come see you. Mind your fucking business. And thank goodness. And imagine if we would have had Kamala in the office when something like this would have happened. She would have let it happen. She would have been cool with it. For those of you that are Christians, doesn't the Bible say that he will turn the very heart of Pharaoh in your direction? Well, we got the heart of Pharaoh on this one because he said, and I agree. Thank God that he could say it, and I don't even, all I have to, because Lord have mercy. I'll be damned if you get paid off of us twice. Nobody, not a Ghanaian, not a Freedman Trust, is going to come between me and my birthright. I will knock you down. I will blow you down. I will kick you down with Timberland boots if you don't get the fuck out my way. And I'm done.
The frustration that you hear in our sister, you know, we all share that sentiment. You know, we be up 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. On these lives that go on 7 in the morning. You'll find one 8 in the morning. You'll find one 10 o'clock at night. You'll find one 5 o'clock in the evening. But everybody likes to bury their head in the sand. Mm-hmm. Not this time, because I want y'all to understand that these sanctuary cities, unfortunately, 4 of us on this panel live in, and some of you live in, and you got these politicians, and particularly Democrats and these Caribbean caucuses and Asian caucuses and Jewish caucuses, literally stealing our political birthright. I want to show you something, because Kamala Harris, Hakeem Jeffries, Yvette Clarke, Stacey Abrams, all of them will deny voter fraud is happening. I'll play this clip. We're going to come back, give our commentary, and get y'all up out of here. Hold on.
Before, you were about to accept my voter registration form, even though I told you I was a green card holder.
I'm just a green card holder. Like, so you're not going to report me if I do this, because
No. We accept anything that comes over the counter. You know, we have people who come in here and they have legal situations and they register, they weren't a citizen, boom. So
how often do things like that happen? Right now, I'm in front of 200 Varick Street in New York City, New York. And inside this building on the 10th floor is an office of the New York City Board of Elections. Now, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to pose as a non-citizen Canadian green card holder.
I'm a green card holder from Canada.
And I'm just going to see how far I can get in the voter registration process. So let's see what happens.
So I talked to a gentleman before and he said he could help me with registering to vote. It's my first time. So what do I have to show you guys?
Everything you fill out, you swear in an affidavit that everything you're putting down is true, and that's it. Can I have a seat? Fill it out.
Oh, got it. Okay. I'm a green card holder from Canada.
Okay, yeah, you got to be a citizen. I wouldn't fill it out.
You want to fill it out?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be a citizen to fill it out.
Notice that he doesn't tell me it would be illegal to complete the application as a non-citizen, only that he doesn't recommend it. From here, things get even more concerning.
The reason why somebody told me that they were a green card holder and that they came in and then they submitted and they were good.
We can't stop you from submitting the application, and if it goes through, but most likely, because they don't do like a full background check, but once in a while, you know, we have people who come in here and they have legal situations and they registered, they weren't a citizen, boom, boom, boom. So
this is a direct admission that non-citizens are in fact registering to vote, something that many claim is a conspiracy theory.
All right, here's the deal. To be honest with you, I'm really against everything that's going on right now, and I'm trying to do my part. So, like, do you mind if I fill this out, or like, is it okay with you?
It's up to you. That's like, I can't tell you what to do. If you want to fill it out, but everything is clearly stated, especially at this bottom, it says American citizen. So you know, if you fill that out and you're not, you know, if it comes back to you, it comes back to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we accept anything that comes over the counter. You know.
But you're not going to report me or something like that?
No, I'm not. No, we don't report anyone. Whoever fills that application out comes to us.
But I'm just a green card holder. Like, I don't want to get. So you're not going to report me if I do this? Because
I'm not. No, I'm not. That's not my job to report anyone. My job is just to collect the application and put it and submit it to the department.
Under New York election law, Section 17106, any election officer who willfully violates any provision of the election law relative to the registration of electors is guilty of a felony. It would be a criminal offense for this worker to process my voter registration after I admitted to being a non-citizen.
Can I take this with me? Is that okay?
Yeah, take one of these. Yeah, you take that, or take another.
Okay. But just to be clear, if I do this, you will be able to submit it for me, not a problem.
Yeah, we'll submit it. That's, you know, because we can do our background check on you. We just collect it, this and that, and that's it.
Okay.
I mean, we're going off your word. I mean, if you check off, because at the top we'll ask you, you know, you're citizen or not. You know, you check yes or you check no. You know, we get registrations come to the mail. Whatever comes through, we accept, and then it's submitted.
We walked out of the office and ultimately didn't submit any application, as doing so would be illegal. We later returned to try to get more information from this worker. However, when we did so, he seemed to get suspicious of us and consulted a coworker. He then changed his tune and refused to accept our application. Despite this, it seems from our first interaction that this worker was willing to accept my voter registration application when I initially claimed that I was not a U.S. citizen. How many non-citizen voter registration applications has this worker or his coworkers accepted? Why did he suggest he would process my application? We asked him ourselves. Here's what he had to say. This is the gentleman who was about to accept my voter registration form the first time we went in, when I said that I was just a green card holder. Here he is now. He doesn't want to atone for what happened. You mentioned to me that you've had situations where non-citizens have registered to vote. Can you tell me more about that? Can you tell me a little more about that? It seemed like before you were about to accept my voter registration form, even though I told you I was a green card holder. How often do things like that happen? I just want to know.
Thank you, Muckraker, strictly for educational purposes. Thank you, Muckraker, for this expose. But, you know, like I said, oh, shoot, I got us out of there. Sorry, for this expose, because back in 2013, when the Freedom Party was running candidates, we talked about voter fraud, the shenanigans that was going on at the Board of Elections. Nobody wanted to hear us. Nobody cared. Because, and I found out later, the Office of the New American was already in effect. It was already in effect. So they couldn't stop it. They had to let it go. But you see what's happening here? You know, Brother Divine, your thoughts?
So we is this the final thoughts? I want to make sure where we at.
Yes, final thoughts.
Right.
Final thoughts.
All right, okay, good. So I'm gonna get to this video last then, because there are some things that went past, because Sister Brooke was cooking.
Go ahead.
So I want to make sure that I touch on that other video you guys brought up, the Essence Fest, and you already talked about Wanga being a descendant of Kenyan slave owners and slave sellers, human traffickers, if you will. But what I also want to highlight is that long before we found out about this debt, Wanga had to step down and blamed it on some illnesses. Now, that has not yet been confirmed or denied, but what I do want to say is that what we've seen during this foundational Black American Renaissance is that our ancestors ain't playing about us. And so there have been a number of other instances, like that young South African TikToker that was trying to mock us and call us cotton pickers. And now she has been unalived.
She did it to herself.
And she did it to herself. And so whether you are losing your job or losing your life, I want you to understand.
Or losing your mind.
Before, right, or losing your mind. Before you take this position against foundational Black Americans that have already been proven that we have a track record of being on the right side of history, and that we are on the right side of history now. Don't find yourself on the wrong side, because there are much more dire consequences than us calling you an African booty scratcher or a tether. Just FYI. Now, to continue on with the Essence Fest, I don't want the family to lose sight of that this was poetry in motion. This was going to be the outcome long before we were pointing it out. Because back in 2011, Richard Lou Dennis and Naima Tubman, both Liberian Americans, allegedly, right, and reportedly at the same time, used a $6.5 million loan intended to overhaul the National Black Theater in Harlem. And there was some scamming allegations around that left the theater in foreclosure back in 2011. You also have these two gentlemen claiming that they built a Black-owned business, right? Because we got to be careful with that term as we move forward. Black-owned business to shea moisture and things of that nature. But we always used to ask ourselves, at least I did. Let me speak for me again. I know I like trying to bring y'all into the fold. Let me just speak for me. What I always thought and viewed Black business as, obviously a way to build our community, but it was always supposed to be so that we had an alternative to the white-owned businesses. And that, yes, a business is there to make money, but becoming a institution in our community was just as important, if not more. But when you have a Richard Lou Dennis and Naima Tubman building up these brands on the backs of foundational Black American women predominantly, and then selling out to white capital, it becomes, well, what was the point? And now we're starting to see that a lot of these brands that build themselves in our community then sell out for white capital were never foundational Black American businesses in the first place. So just like they're white co-conspirators, they build these transactional relationships with our community and then sell it out for personal gain. And I put sell it out in quotations because I often say, can you really sell out if you never bought in? And what we're finding is that a lot of these Afro immigrants that speak Black power and come around our communities and talk about building the brand and talk about building something for the culture, similar to that Jamaican divestor that made the character in that hideous xenophobic quote unquote horror movie. we find that they never bought in. That they put us on as a costume. Tether, if you will, for personal gain. And so when you have money missing and bills left unpaid with the Essence Fest, the writing was already on the wall. When you're dealing with these two, throw in Wanga, who comes from a family that was willing to sell their own for personal gain, and this is what you have. But again, the ancestors don't play about us. And so now one of the things that they would always say, and Sister Brooks said this, she was like, well, you can't be mad at the Essence Fest because if you had enough money as Foundation Black Americans, then you should have bought it yourself. And now it looks like, to steal your line, I'm sorry, Sister Brooke.
You know I had it written down.
So I ain't even going to say it.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you. Go ahead.
I'm leaving. I got my own lines. You ain't going to call me a teller. So I'm going to leave that line alone. But just know that the writing was already on the wall. And then we get down to the video that we just saw. And I don't want to toot our horn, but I just want the family to know this is not to impress you, but to impress upon you that the city of New York, through the city council, voted to allow non-citizens to vote in our local elections as long as they were in the city for 30 days. That's an extended vacation. And as long as they were here that long, they could vote and decide the direction that the city would take in the future. And there were foundational Black American city council members in that meeting that said, yo, this is going to disenfranchise foundational Black American voters because those are the neighborhoods that you're putting these non-citizens in. And that statement was made long before the migrant crisis that placed even more undocumented illegal aliens into our communities. And so these things don't happen in a vacuum. I want us to understand the political space that we're in. There are stair steps. Sister Brooke, at the suggestion from our sister Keisha, is reading The Invisible Coup. And that book helps to lay out how this plan that we're seeing now in 2026 was put into motion back with Clinton and Gore. And probably long before that. And so none of what we're seeing right now is a vacuum. There was plans in place. But the one thing they didn't plan for is that our ancestors don't play about us. And this foundational Black American movement, this renaissance, sprung up out of the grassroots. And we've been throwing wrenches in the system ever since. Because guess what? That foundational Black American City Council members, though they protested, the bill passed anyway. Because at the city level, just for a little bit of a civics lesson, when the city council passes it, if the mayor doesn't veto it, but also doesn't sign it, it becomes law automatically. So de Blasio, to give himself culpable deniability, just let the bill sit because he was leaving. Here comes Sister Brooks' favorite, Eric Adams. He comes in and he also does not sign it, which allows that bill to become law automatically since he didn't veto it. And it was official that non-citizens were going to be able to vote in the next election. But our ancestors don't play about us. And this little engine that could, called the U.S. Reframing Project, did something that was taboo at the time. Because if you know Black folks, you know historically, we've been Democrat. And we said, if it's the Democrats that are endorsing this erasure of our political power, our only alternative is to go to the quote-unquote enemy. And politics make interesting and strange bedfellows. And I heard the master teacher say we don't have any permanent friends or permanent enemies, just permanent interests. And we decided to stand up for what was right and got with those Republicans and said, this will not stand because we are just as American as you, if not more. What are you going to do about this unconstitutional bill that the city council just passed? And they challenged it. And they got it overturned based on the New York State Constitution that said you have to be a citizen to vote. And the Democrats already knew. And it goes hand in hand with this video. Because even though something is against the law, it doesn't actually become against the law until somebody enforces that law. And that's what we've seen with the Democrats in power. Everything that they're doing, they know is against the law. Everything that they're allowing with these illegal aliens, they know is illegal and against the law. But if nobody enforces it, then what do we have? And you can hate, like them, love them, whatever, call them a rapist. I mean, I'm not racist and rapist. I don't know if we can say that word on YouTube. I'm sorry if we can't. But the bottom line is that Trump came in and enforced all the laws that were already in the books that the Democrats would not enforce. That's all he did. He didn't make up no new laws. He didn't make up no racist laws. These are laws already on the book. In fact, Obama was enforcing them when he was in office. He just was your favorite Democrat and sang Al Green, so you just let it go. When he was the deporter in chief. So we got that overturned, and we got it overturned and was able to see the fruit of our labors in real time, because as soon as it gets overturned, you see the migrant crisis that was already coming anyway. I want y'all to know this stuff, it was already planned, the invisible coup. And so had the United States Freedmen Project not stood in the gap for our political autonomy, because the NAACP was on board. They endorsed that bill. NAN endorsed that bill. The Urban League endorsed that bill. NARC and Cobra, IBW 21, December 12th movement, Malcolm X movement, all the movements and organizations you could think of in New York that's supposed to fight for Black Americans endorsed that law and gave the Democrats the green light to put a red light on our political autonomy. And I ain't even talking about the red light special. We talk about the bad red light. And so this is what we're talking about, or what we're up against. And so when you see that man allow himself to be a lamb for the slaughter on behalf of the Democrats and knowing he's violating the law, this is something that we cannot do. And that is not what the Foundation Black American Grassroots Movement is about. And that is why this is so powerful. And so I brought up last night, to bring another full circle moment, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, that he and Jesse Jackson died on the same day, February 17th, 25 years apart. And that Dr. Khalid Muhammad spoke truth to power, because the fight he was having then when he spoke out about Jesse Jackson is the same one we're having now, where it's the grassroots versus the boule and the establishment. And the left-wing white supremacy propped up organizations that say they fight for us. We're having that same fight now. That's what this Renaissance movement is about. That's what Dr. Khalid Muhammad was talking about when he would call out Jesse Jackson and the other bootlickers and soft shoers. But you know what else Dr. Khalid Muhammad talked about? That Africans owe reparations to foundational Black Americans. Uh-oh, y'all ain't know about that one, right? And that ain't hearsay. That's on video. You can see it live in living color. And so this is not new. So the Ghanaians could play if they want to. But our ancestors don't play about us. And y'all can keep playing around. And y'all think stuff is sweet. And y'all got this year of return. And y'all got the Elmina Castle. And y'all building theme parks around enslavement. I'm telling y'all, they don't play about us. So I need y'all to get right, because things can go wrong for you very quickly. And so I know Sister Brooke broached it, so I want to make sure, and I land here because I want to make sure it's official tissue. We talked about this, but she jumped out the window, and that's all right because she jumped out the window for the right reasons. As the president of the U.S. Freedom Project and a representative on this live, I want everybody that's listening to me or is going to watch the playback understand that not a Freedmen Trust, not the U.S. Freedom Project, or any other third-party organization can verify you as a freedman. Your ancestors verify you as a freedman.
Boom!
Their enslavement and emancipation verifies you as a freedman. That 1870 census is the foundation of the justice claim. No other third party or outside party, not even the Freedmen Trust, can verify you as a freedman, and you do not need any verification as a freedman from anybody, the U.S. Freedom Project included. I need y'all to understand that, yes, and we talked about this, I call it the law of doing something good. We got to understand that just because somebody does one thing good doesn't mean they do all things good. And so somebody can be doing some things that are a bit underhanded and also a bit disingenuous at best, and we being nice with the language, while also doing something that you can support and believe in.
Like the letters.
So at no point in time will I denigrate the sending of the certified letters. That is something that any American citizen can do. I'm glad they are sending them and standing up for things that the certified letter can stand up for. But I want to be very clear. No one else, not me or anybody, can verify you as a freedman. Your lineage does that all by itself, and that's the most beautiful thing about it. And so on that note, I know one of the people in the chat asked for the video. I sent it to Sister Keisha. I believe she put it in the chat. You can go listen.
It's in both chats.
Yeah, it's in both chats. You guys can go listen to that interview for yourselves to see what he has set up, what he is doing with that family trust. And you can make your decision on whether or not you want to donate or give any money to a family trust that he and his family runs while calling it a Freedmen Trust. You can do that on your own and make your own decisions. But understand, one more time, for those that may not have caught it, no one, not I or anyone else in this movement, can verify you as a freedman. Not even the federal government can verify you as a freedman. Your lineage does that all by itself. Because if you had ancestors that was enslaved and emancipated in the U.S., your ancestors and all their progeny, that includes you, were given the status of freedmen through the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863 and subsequently through the 13th Amendment of 1865. I'll land there. Thank you so much.
You see, we are in divine order. I was saving that for my closing. See that? It was in my notes. Can y'all see that? Oh no, it's a black pad there. We in divine order. Y'all better stop playing with us. Y'all better stop playing with us.
You triggered me on purpose. Because you already knew when you put that up there. You already knew what I was going to do. You know me well. You knew. You triggered me. I didn't mean to speak. When I was speaking, I wasn't speaking on behalf of the Freedmen Project. That's Brooke. Brooke got a big mouth. And sometimes I can't hold it. And that's on one of them situations. Sister Keisha know I can't hold that. I ain't gonna sit here and have this thing on here and not tell the family the truth. She triggered me. She set me up. In a good way.
Brother Melrose, thank you for the cash out. But we in divine order. I don't gotta say nothing. I keep my notes over there. It's in divine order. I keep my notes over there for now, but I'm glad he explained that. Because a lot of trick games are being played out here.
Come on.
And like he said, the only thing that can verify you is that paperwork. That's it. That paperwork. Your family line. Does it go to the 1870 census or beyond? or beyond. Many months ago, I showed you one line of my family to the 1700s. Showed y'all. That's the only verification you have. Because when you see stuff like this, you know, we have a sophisticated audience, so I know y'all caught that. But when you see something like this, it should raise your antennas. It should raise your antennas. Because you have organizations, not saying they are per se, but you have organizations who work hand in hand with these groups, and they getting kickbacks, heavy kickbacks. And everybody is working against this, but they can't stop it.
Can't.
Because, you know, they like to say Tariq Nasheed is the leader. I ain't never been led by no man I don't know. Like, I don't understand that. The only man that's leading me right now is Uncle Jesse. Get on them Friday night calls.
Hi, Uncle Jesse. Hi, Aunt Marie.
I don't want no smoke. So I'll make sure I make the Friday night calls. I don't want no problems. You understand? So shout out to Peasy, Arnold, Michelle, Lisa, everybody. Anyway, we'll chop it up tomorrow on the calls. But be careful. Be wise. Keep them antennas going. I ain't gotta put that in my clothes now. My brother and sister, they handled it. That's it. I'm the big sister, let it guide and let it ride. So thank you for that. Sister Marcia, and then we'll go to Sister Brooke and Brother the Blacksmith, and I'll close it out. Sister Marcia, your thoughts on the entire episode? And yeah.
Well, again, another learning lesson for me. You know, I remember when President Devine brought to my attention of Grace Richer. The only person that I knew who spoke of the flag was Fannie Lou Hamer, right? And her statement, and to hear her words, the flag is drenched with our blood, always sat with me, right? I didn't know why, but I appreciated her passion. And so I never denounced the flag of peoples because I don't know what I don't know. And all I know is what I read. And so I appreciate it because, again, I know America is a country that my parents came to and birthed me in. And I appreciate my parents for the sacrifice that they did for whatever their reasons were, but it gave me the life that I am able to live. Look at my parent right there. Look at one of them in the background. But again, the new lesson that I learned, thank you, Sister Brooke, was of Harriet Jacobs. So throughout all of my education, no matter where I was, I never heard that name. But they damn sure drilled in Anne Frank. You gotta know Anne Frank. You gotta understand this white girl was in the attic, buried, and yada yada yada. Now, had in my arsenal, I had a Harriet Jacobs. Do you know the essays that I would have been writing about America and how they treated people instead of focusing myself on Germany? But again, it's what you know is what you speak of. And so I want to thank Sister Brooke for bringing a Harriet Jacobs into my viewpoint. So I am going to put this in my reading list. And I think, I'm coming up on a vacation soon. I think this will be my new read soon. So, and with the people from other countries that are threatening people in the country that they live in, they got serious situations, because why don't you go back home? If you're threatening the lives of the people where you are living in, you really have a problem with your consciousness. And you should have stayed where you were, or just go back there and deal with that there, because you're enjoying some type of privilege right now that you don't deserve. Someone who really needs it could probably use it better and be a part of the building that the community is building right now. And the community needs builders and not people that are against them. And I'm so tired of people against people being the topic of conversation, but I understand it needs to be highlighted so people aren't in a vacuum and saying these things aren't happening, because I think that's a lot of things that happens, is that we live in certain vacuums, we don't see certain things, and so we don't understand certain things. So I appreciate the highlight of these, can't even call them people, but they can go where they go. And with all of that said, they said there's going to be a storm this week in New York. I'm so over storms. I just need some sun. I'm trying to fly away to a sun, but every time I try to book a flight, they say a storm. So I don't know who hates me right now, but I don't care. I'll live my best life the way it's supposed to be. With all that said, may time flourish. And if time cannot flourish for you, make it flourish. Fight with this bitch. Oops. Fight with this itch and make it the best thing that you can, because on this platform, people are fighters and I'm one of them. So live on. Sister Brooke.
We're going to let Brother Black go and she'll come back later. Go ahead, Black. Oh, I think he's frozen. All right, he's frozen. I want y'all to check this out. Shout out to Sister Candace again.
Our boundaries don't need to be explained. Just respected. We're done explaining. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. If it's not, keep it moving. Y'all keep delineating.
It's up and it's stuck, baby. It's up and it's stuck. Nope, he pulled out. Okay, something must be wrong on his end. So, you got time, Sister Brooke?
I'm gonna try.
Go ahead, get it in.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the Essence Fest on the comment that I made to President Divine that he didn't want to share on my behalf. The comment I made was that he bought high and now he gonna have to sell low. And if anybody trades stocks, that's not what you want. And we did that. We accomplished that for him. And I love it for him. That is the power of us sticking together. Okay. I also want to talk about a little bit more about the Freedmen Trust. I want people to understand that the thing that put them on my radar, because if you even go through my tweets, there were times when I was about those letters that they were sending, I'm reposting the letters they were sending because I was proud of that for us, that there was an entity, a group of people who were moving in that way because I felt that that was needed. However, when they decided that in order to be verified, if they could not verify you by lineage, that they had a copper colored test, my antennas, everything started firing. What the? And as a copper colored individual, I felt it was my duty to speak on behalf of my family who are not copper colored. But because you can't say that I'm challenging you because there's a question about my copper color. So when I questioned him about this, and you can see this on my Twitter, this is all there for you to see. He revealed that it was a copper-colored AI test that they give you to help verify your lineage. That was foolproof, he said. Absolutely not. And that is when I started digging deeper, asking more questions, finding out more. So before you hand over your information, understand your lineage at this point. You see how the Ghanaians are trying to insert themselves into our DNA? Do you see them trying to insert themselves into the lineage? Stop posting your proof. People are watching. People are taking notes of your proof, and they are making plans to assume your identity because they want to scam you out of your birthright. They will attempt, and this is for the Bible people in here today. They are going to get that lamb skin and put it on their arm and go before their father and steal your birthright. That lamb skin, and pretend that they are you in front of the person that doles out the birthright. So when you are posting your census forms, you are posting your death records, you are posting pictures of your family members, there are people watching because I've heard them talking. They are screenshotting. They will attempt to steal treat your lineage like your social security number. Hold that to the vest. Don't show it. Don't give it to nobody. I was in the space the other day. They started asking me questions. I told them I don't answer no questions. I don't have to answer to you. My lineage is verified for me, not for you. So when you're giving people the evidence to who you are also giving them the ability to blackmail you with it, to strong arm you with it, and to steal your birthright with it. So you protect your records, your family records, the names of your ancestors. Protect that. Hold that close. Because the destiny swapping, the scamming is real. Then I want to talk about people starting businesses. Right. Somebody said they're definitely doxing people. They said that in the chat. That people are being doxed. If you try to tell the truth about what's happening, you now can't tell the truth because they got all your information. Let that sizzle in your spirit. So when you're thinking about whether you should be verified, just go on Ancestry.com. Sister Keisha has given out information in the past on how you can do it yourself. Do it yourself. This is not something that this is vital information. You can't put this in anybody else's hands. You can't trust anybody else with this information. Okay? Even your DNA in Chicago. Now that we here, let's talk about it, Chicago, because I saw somebody in my chat from Chicago. Don't you dare give up your DNA, because they're not even charging for it. They're going to hit you with a free DNA test soon. Hold your DNA, hold your Henrietta Lacks DNA close to your vest. Do not give it up. They don't mean you no good. They want to steal your birthright. Did you hear what's that woman's name? Gabrielle Sidibe. I always get her name wrong.
Yeah, Gabrielle Sidibe.
Sidibe. I know that part is right. Huh? Where she sat there and said that she lied there and talked about how she's her own cousin because her mother was related to her father who's from Africa. Lies. They are attempting to get in on you see the game that they playing? They are attempting to get in. If we already exposed on this here show how they lied about the DNA test to put you in Africa in the first place. They lied to separate your DNA from this land. We also showed on this show that the American DNA is older than the DNA in Africa. We also showed you from a video that I posted way back in 2018, where Henry Skip the Truth Gates was in front of a group of white folks laughing, saying these people think we can take some spit and give them a tribe. He was laughing, saying how Oprah lied as they do that show, Finding Your Roots. When they did Oprah's segment of Find Your Roots, she tweeted before they even ran the test and said she was a Zulu. He said in a room of white folks that he told the person running the DNA, hey, did you tell Oprah she was a Zulu? He said, nah, I ain't even do the test yet. He said, well, good. Make her a Zulu. Do you understand if they're faking where you from, they can fake these people in your family? On the box, the DNA test says, for entertainment purposes only. The only thing that DNA is good for is finding out who your mama and your daddy and your cousins and your half sisters that you may not know about are. They can't tell you nothing about your ancestors or anything like that. They cannot. That's why it says on the box, for entertainment purposes only. So stop giving these people your DNA. And if you've done it already, just don't do it again. Because they about to hit us hard with these free DNA tests. And they're going to be free this time. Before, I thought y'all was crazy for paying these people to tell you where they stole you from. But now I know that it wasn't stolen. You were sold. But now they're going to give you the test because we're not paying for it no more. Now they want to give it to us for free. When have they given us anything for free that was going to help us? Put your antennas up, get your melanin. Come on. I need y'all to think. I need the family to be aware of this because they are hidden. They are going to come at us from every angle because what we're doing is working. And this is the only way that they can come at us. They got to lie. They got to scam. They got to pull tricks. They got to pull wool over your eyes. They got to put the wool over their arm to steal your birthright. Think about this. For hundreds of years, they have been classifying and reclassifying and lying about documents and all of these things. Why do you think they've done that? They called you Indian. Then they called you mulatto. Then they called you an octoroon. Then they called you do you understand? Why do we need so many names? Why? Because they're trying to hide. They're trying to bury. There's a video with an Indian chief. He's a black Indian chief. I can't think of his name right now, where he's talking about the fact that they are starting to shut down the records. Brother Tad has talked about on this that he used to be able to go to the Schomburg and research, and now they're not letting it happen no more. They don't want us to know the truth. Dr. Short has talked about multiple times that they have forbade him to submit his DNA anymore because they don't want to tell him who he's actually related to. These people don't want to help you. Do not give them your blood. Your blood, please remember what our ancestors taught us. Our ancestors, I know my mother used to say back when they were kids, when they had their monthly, they had to go out to the back and burn that. When they took the hair out the comb, they had to burn that. And this is before DNA testing. Do not give these people your blood. Do not give these people your spit. Do not give these people your DNA. They mean you no good. And I hope I harped on that enough that you hear me in your sleep. Like I be hearing my mama. Okay? Then now that I went on a tangent, I want to talk about, because I just feel like that is very important for the family to know. I'm very concerned about these free DNA.
Seriously concerned.
I'm very concerned about my family, and y'all know I love you. That's why I'm going as hard as I do. I'm going hard because I love y'all. I love my family. And not on my watch are they going to come and steal your DNA. Not on my watch are they going to put that thing in. Was it Esau and Jacob? Yes, it was. It was Esau and Jacob. Now, I can't remember which one is which now. I think, who was the one who was supposed, who's the oldest? It was Esau. Esau was the hairy one. And Jacob went in there with the thing on his arm and stole the birthright from the blind father. If y'all know but the Bible, this is what they are attempting to do to us. Steal our birthright. Okay. Now, companies that have, President Devine talked about companies that have made a switch on it. And since we talked about monthlies, I'm not going to get too deep into the monthlies, so men, don't worry. Okay, I'm not going to gross you out. But there was a company called Honey Pot. Honey Pot taught me to think about the chemicals that are on the sanitary napkins. They taught me that they were putting chemicals and things in the sanitary napkins, and that we're placing these sanitary napkins in areas that go straight to our bloodstream. Y'all hear me? And then what did she do? She sold the company to the very same people she told us was poisoning us. And then told us not to worry about it. Oh, but God, Allah, whoever you want to say, sent us Rizza, Islam, who made the peace pad just in time. So y'all support our brother Rizza Islam and his peace pads and dump the honey pot. Because just like the CIA, the honey pot was a fake, phony distraction, a bait and switch. Because that's what a honey pot situation is, when they send you a woman or a man for you to fake fall in love with, and that all the while that person is working for the government. Isn't that ironic that that's what she named her company? Peace to the peace pads. They are wonderful, and thank God for him. And the last thing I want to touch on is the illegals and they voting. I remember saying that, was it last week? And I remember being challenged quite severely on the fact that illegals were voting here in New York. And may I just say, thank God for vindication. And I'll land.
Don't come on the bridge with no foolishness. We bring receipts, we bring data, and we bring truth, no matter how you feel about it. Brother Black. Oh, before you go, Brother Black, thank you, Tamantha, for the Cash App. Appreciate that. Brother Black.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to be long because I know we're way over. It's ironic that we're having this conversation in light of the fact that the person who dubbed FBA as African Americans just passed away. And like Sister Keisha said, that whole distinction is gone and buried now. So with that said, like Sister
May he
Marcia
take
said,
it with him to the grave.
Yes, ma'am. All the way. With that said, we got the nor'easter that Sister Marcia spoke about a few minutes ago. It promises to be kind of heavy because it's supposed to be coming down from Canada into down the northeast corridor down to about Philly. So meaning New York are going to get hit too. What is that? I want to ask y'all a question because I'm not there. What was the climate with this Ramadan at Gracie Mansion or whatever happened in New York? Was that just a media thing?
We don't know. We don't care. But go ahead.
Okay. Keep your foot on the gas, Sister Brooke.
Yes,
I love your energy, your fire. Keep it going, brother Divine. Y'all teaching me, so that's why I've been quiet. I told my sister earlier that I'm going to listen more, and thank y'all for the lessons I'm getting. A lot of stuff I didn't know today. Sister Keisha, thank you for the education. Insofar as the sheriff that was bodying all them Klan members and disappearing, he wasn't bodying. Excuse me, let me rephrase. He was disappearing them, as it was said. So let me not, and they didn't say alleged or supposed or none of that. I love that part. That was the best part of the show for me, if you ask me. The pendulum is swung. So all the negative shit, I'm including myself in this as a targeted individual. And I've been saying this for about a year and a half, but it's now coming into fruition where we see it. So whoever's on the right side of history, we on the road to victory. We just got to keep that foot on the gas and keep it going. And that's all it's going to be. As far as what you was talking about, Sister Brooke, and this is my last point, I believe Oprah did that Zulu stuff with the intentions of kidnapping them girls and sending them to St. James Island. So everything comes back full circle. He was grabbing them from other places too, but that was an easy place to do it. I lived in Ghana for a few years, so I know how operationally things work there. There's no oversight on things like that. You don't got CPS, even though that's another deep state ran operation. You don't even the semblance of looking at it is not there for those things like that oversight. And then you could just pay if the people make enough noise, you pay them 10 G's, they done with it. They're not gonna follow up on that. The kid is gone, whatever. We got our money now. We can at least get a decent house and maybe get a cheap car or something like that. So I believe that was the reason for it. And the intel says, and I have it on my blog. If y'all want me to send it to y'all, I can. There's an article that said that allegedly is no longer here since 2023. I know over the weeks and few months that we've been, talking about this stuff in particular, y'all been seeing videos or reading articles that most of the people that are against Trump is gone anyway. So, while we keep the wheels running, a lot of things is happening that we ain't gonna see, and it's gonna come out soon. So just keep the foot on the gas and let's just keep going. And that's it, Sister Keisha. Thank you out there to the panel. Thank you out there to the people watching, and thank you for those who are watching the future. Blacksmith. Out. See you on the bridge next week. Peace.
And just for clarity, you can find all of our contact information in the description of this broadcast. In case you want to reach out to us, find more information, get more information, chop it up, whatever. All of our information is always part of the description. So I don't think there's nothing left for me to say. But keep rocking out with us on the Brooklyn Bridge, because we don't play no games over here. We're going to give it to you raw. We're going to give it to you real. Each and every week. Sometimes I might get heated amongst us too. So you never know how it's going to go down on the Brooklyn Bridge. Oh, you tethers out there who have a nasty habit. Oh, before I do that, I want y'all, the link is highlighted in the chat. Send these emails.
Come on.
Send these emails. We are making progress on your behalf. The emails are pre-written. There are 5 of them. They are pre-written. You don't have to figure out what you want to say. You want to sit and read them more, you may. But it takes like 15 seconds to send each email. We are flipping members of the Assembly, flipping members of the Senate. And with your continued support, we can flip more and attain reparation and delineation legally. So share this with your family and your friends. Share them with your comrades. Those who say they are in support of foundational Black American freedmen receiving their just due. You know, a few months ago, we pulled up on a Pan-African space. And it was a bit of back and forth. You know, first we wasn't going to go. You know, then great-grandparents said, get y'all asses up, goddammit. Get your ass on Utica Avenue. Today. So we pulled up. It was a conversation, as Brooke say, about us without us.
Tried to be.
And some of those folks in that room say, yeah, we support y'all. We're going to show up for the next hearing. I ain't seen none of y'all yet.
Where they at, though?
Bring them out, bring them out. Where you at? Where you at? We had to come. As T.I.'s #1 hit right now, let them know. We had to come and let them know. You don't mess with FBA. As I said here, you all have been leaning, and that's all of the diaspora, have been leaning on our lineage and our legacy for so long, you don't know how to stand on your own. And that sent the room into a tailspin. Just those less than 17 words? Sent the whole place in a tailspin. It hit that way because what I said was absolute truth. Absolute truth. Y'all have a good rest of the week. Y'all be safe out there. Put your salutations in the chat. We'll highlight them on the way out, so my brother Divine could get his dance on behind the scenes. Y'all stay true to each other. Honor who put you here on this planet. Who put your mama here on this planet and your daddy on this planet. And those grandparents on this planet. That's what we're fighting for. They want us to have their justice claim. We gonna get it. No matter who's in the way. Good night, y'all. We out.
Good. Y'all want us to chill? You gotta chill too. I got you, brother. I got you. You would qualify because you do have a line that goes back to the enslavement in this country. If you don't, go elsewhere and appeal your claim. Stop leaning on, and that's the problem with Pan-Africanism. You all have been leaning on our legacy for so long. You don't know how to stand on your own.
I don't necessarily. That is absolutely not true. Wait, hold on.
I said what I said.
Hold on. Everybody's.
You gotta chill too.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From brother Tad to sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcy brings the heat, brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they